There we go. Now you guys can hear us.
Oh,
hey,
God. Hi. I'm
good
sorry. I
stream.
spilled my coffee.
Good start to this broadcast.
I 100% just spilled my coffee on our map. Shit.
Man.
Balls. Okay. All right. I'm going to try getting back in without spilling coffee.
Cramped quarters.
Oh.
Cramped quarters in this setup.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Not the coffee.
Welcome to the Board and Barrel in the off-site location.
Linda can't be... Okay. No sound. Sound.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Okay, good.
I fixed it. I can see. Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that there is sound now. Coffee-themed dungeons.
Whoa, my sweater looks really bright on this monitor.
Yeah, on that one.
It's not this bright.
This is closer to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That the colors on the TV are wrong.
Wrong. Oh my God, we're gonna be so bad at this.
Oh man,
like, this is gonna be horrible.
So I don't know how many of you guys have been watching this Twitch channel for a while, but we did one case of the Sherlock Holmes game a long time ago on Twitch.
Yeah, we did.
I think it was case 2, maybe?
Probably.
Case 2 or case 3.
We should just do it again so that we don't look so shitty at it.
There's nothing we can do to stop ourselves from looking bad at this game. Okay. This game is hard.
This game's so hard. Like we're not gonna solve this.
It's so hard that I stopped wanting to play it. Really.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I like it because I like puzzles and mysteries.
I like
and things,
puzzles
but
too, but the puzzles makes me feel stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard. But anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously you guys know that this is not the usual setup for the Board and Barrel. We are at our house instead of at Eric's. Eric and Dustin are both out of town.
Because holidays.
Because it's the holidays.
Happy holidays.
Crowley, what are you chewing on?
Crowley?
Oh, that's a magnet. That's an avalanche magnet that he's destroying. Good thing I have about 12 more of them somewhere.
I was gonna say that's not a big deal. You should just let him have it.
I don't want to let him have it because he could choke on something.
Crowley's
if I can
eating a
get
magnet.
up.
It is very cramped quarters in here.
Yep.
Guys.
Where are you going? What are you doing? Oh, great. I've got it.
Perhaps the dog should leave.
I didn't put him in here.
Crowley!
You wanted him sitting on the couch.
I'm gonna get our
start of
puppy.
the show.
Come here. Well, yeah, but he wouldn't do it because he sucks. Leave.
Okay.
Go terrorize the cat.
That's a good plan.
That's what he'll do.
I know.
He terrorizes Simon. It's really sad, actually. I got really mad at him this morning.
Okay. I'm almost back on the couch. Ugh.
All right.
Okay.
So Kyle and I are talking about this case because we don't remember if we did it or not. And we think we did, but we think we were so bad at it that if we do it again,
it's really not going to matter.
Probably not
we're
gonna
still
matter.
going to lose.
Because we're still not going to figure it out because I don't remember. I glanced at it and I remember some of the names, but I don't remember the story and I do not. No. I don't remember how it was solved at all.
Yeah, me neither. But I have
I'm a
the
little
memory of a goldfish, so I don't.
Yeah.
I could do any of them over again and not remember much.
Yeah. I don't know.
So
I just don't want to get through it and then be like, oh, I remember how this goes.
yeah.
What do you guys think? Should we try this one again, even though we might have done it?
It'll be new to you no matter what. Because you guys haven't seen one since
should we
like, case
definitely choose a new one, like that we know we haven't done?
I got a couple shout outs that came through during the pre-show. DJ Music Studios resub right there just reminded me. So let's scroll back just a little bit. There we go. Emil resubscribed, one of our lovely moderators. Emil3361 resubscribed for a 33rd consecutive month. That's a lot of months that I've been doing this. I mean, obviously intermittently doing this, but
right.
Emil's been here since basically the very beginning of subscriber days. I think Emil is It has that first, yeah, there it is, the little first badge.
Oh.
One of the first 25 people or something to subscribe to the channel. And Emil's message was, steals your G. Thanks, Emil. You already have more G than anybody else, myself included, so what do you need mine for? Duelmaster66 resubscribed for a 23rd month. Thank you for sticking with Hacker Clan. DJ Music Studio just resubscribed for a 27th month.
Yeah.
And said, happy holidays, everyone. Good to see Caitlin on stream again. You got this.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
That's really
Greg
sweet.
Chun's watching.
Shut up. Greg Chun.
Hi, Greg. Happy holidays.
Hi, Greg. Oh my gosh.
Greg Chun, for those who don't know,
Greg Chun is rad.
is a voice actor. It's actually, you guys should know Greg because he was the voice of Adam in Nier Automata.
He came here, right?
He did. Greg and Cassandra tried to do a Nier stream with me on a day when Twitch's servers were just dead. So it did not work at all, unfortunately. He forgot about that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that. I remember you guys coming over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Greg Chun. We need to do that again someday.
Yeah.
So today we're not playing Nier. We're playing a tabletop game, and it's barely even a tabletop game. Like we've got stuff. We got a camera set up here for you guys to see the top of the table.
I love that little thing. I love
the beer clinks.
Yeah.
Oh, look, and there's chat on this screen too.
Oh my god.
So you guys can see the chat.
Oh my god.
Except everybody's orange for some reason. Well, anyway.
It's fine.
Yeah, so we got the tabletop camera for you to look at some stuff, but there's really not a whole lot to look at. There's a lot of reading involved in this game.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to like listen to us
Yeah.
a lot. Which is like really all like that's really all I do. You usually
Normally you have me read, and then I'm focused on doing character voices and not paying attention to the game anyway.
So I take notes because
Yeah.
he's fucking around.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and there's a nice overhead shot of Caitlin's coffee.
Oh, there's my coffee. You can see that I'm a child. That I like
You
my
like lots of
cream
sugar
with
in
coffee.
the coffee.
Yeah. No, it's Coffee Mate. I drink French vanilla Coffee Mate because
So yeah, this
I'm a trash human.
Not by no means a normal episode of the Board and Barrel because we're barely playing a tabletop game and we're not in our normal location, and my normal 3 co-hosts are scattered to the wind this week. But
those guys.
But Caitlin's with me.
Those assholes.
And we're gonna play Sherlock Holmes, Consulting Detective. So we were discussing. Caitlin brought this up. We think we've done this case before, just the 2 of us.
The Cryptic
Not on Twitch.
Corpse?
Yes, the Cryptic Corpse.
God, that's weird.
That's
writing.
weird fonts
Yeah,
on
it
that
is.
one.
Okay.
So, basically the way that this game works is that there's a little synopsis story thing where Sherlock and Watson are brought in,
And
brought
somebody
up
else.
and the Baker Street gang. Or
Yeah.
Baker Street. What are they called?
I don't know.
Baker Street.
It doesn't
Well,
matter.
something.
There are other people.
We'll
It's
remember
fine.
in a second.
Don't worry about it.
Haven't played this game in too long. Anyway, they bring us up to speed on whatever the case is for that particular game.
Baker Street Irregulars. Thank you.
The Baker Street Irregulars. That was
we
the last.
shouldn't be playing
the
this.
last-
We are
Hey,
the worst.
playing it on Twitch is the best way to play it because then we might stand a chance because we'll have their help.
It's hard. You guys, like, it's not just...
The first case...
You have to actually, like, be like Sherlock Holmes. Like, you actually have to take all of the information.
Everything. And it could be
and make
something so
yeah.
small. That, and there's all kinds of stuff thrown in that is just there to throw you off.
Yes.
So you key in on all kinds of details that don't matter.
Right.
And then you find out at the end that it was some other detail that was right in front of you the whole time that you were supposed to pay attention to.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Basically.
usually like you really like all of the answers that we've read through.
Take these off.
I've just been like, oh my god, we really had to like reason this out. Like,
Yeah.
you have to, like, actually use your logic, otherwise you're not going to get it.
I remember the very first case, because this game, let me move this into the shot a little bit better. This is the game. This comes with 10 cases. I think there's 2 more expansions now that do, I mean, they're also standalone because you don't need everything to do each case, but there's, I think there's 2 other sets of 10 cases. And once you've done a case, you're not supposed to do it again. So once we've done all 10 cases, the game is dead to us, basically.
Except that
we're so bad at it. Like, we don't even remember. It's also been a while. I know we were not even close. Whatever the last case was that we tried to play
I think it was
together.
this one.
It probably was.
And then I think we were like, fuck this game. We're awful.
Yeah, and
we shouldn't
it sat
play
on a
this
shelf
anymore. Yeah.
for the past year, I think. So we're breaking it back out.
So anyway.
So we're trying to debate on whether or not we want to do this case again
Or
for the
just-
first time for our viewers,
Or just go for the next
or
case.
go for the next one.
Why don't you pull, what's the next one? Pull out the next one.
The next one, I think it's the Curse of the Mummy or something like that.
Which I think we also tried to do.
Really?
That sounds familiar too, yeah.
Really?
While Kyle's pulling that out, we also have, while we're trying to solve the case, we have tools that we can use. We have newspapers that have information on them, and then we have a map of London that also can help us with locations and with, like, trying to figure out, you know, like, would they have enough time to get from there to there to there or whatever. We also have this thing, the London Directory, where we can look up where to find people if they mention them in either the newspaper or in the actual case file. So there's a lot of tools at our disposal that we can use to try to find things.
And the locations tell us where to look in the case to read whatever the next thing is that we're investigating.
Yes.
The premise of winning the game is, like, there's 2 layers to it.
Right.
There's an envelope at the back of each case file, if I could go back here, that has all of the final answers written on it. There's also a set of questions that are printed upside down there. When you decide to try and attempt to solve the case, you flip to that back page and you go through all of those questions and you write down your answers. And I think there's a set of like 8 questions or thereabouts. There's 4 main ones and 4 bonus ones.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's 5 and 4, or 5 and 5. I don't know, somewhere around there.
And each time you use a different location that you look up in the case file, that's one.
You're supposed to mark down each time you go visit something, because
Right.
at the end of the game, then after you've written down all your answers, you read the solution, which is Sherlock explaining basically how he solved the case.
And he'll show
and
what.
he shows where he went, who he talked to.
Yeah, what clues, what hints he used to do it. And if you use less clues and hints than he does, you win. You'll never win.
No.
Because he uses like 2.
Yeah, he goes like...
And you're like, what?
He goes to like maybe 4 places at the most.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for us to solve it, we usually have to read the whole damn
The
book.
entire thing. So we're not...
And we still don't solve it.
Yeah,
usually.
no. So we play this game just to try to get the right answer. We don't care if we beat Sherlock, because we won't beat Sherlock.
So this was the next case. And you think we did that one too? God, got a frog in my throat. I think there's actually a scoring system where it's like you get 10 points for each of the main questions you get right, and then a certain number of bonus points for each of the bonus questions you get right. And then if you use...
We totally did this one too.
Okay, so we need to move way forward.
And I don't remember how this was solved either.
That's... What is that? Oh, that's case 8. Case 7.
The Banker's Quietus. Yeah, this
one's
seems
new.
like we don't know this. Okay.
Then I need to pull out some more newspapers. Those are right there. What's the date on the front?
The 11th of April, 1890.
1890. That's this one. This is the present day newspaper.
Oh, and the other thing that sucks, or is cool, depending on how you think about it, is that past newspapers from past cases can sometimes help you solve the present case.
Usually not with the main questions, but the bonus ones.
With the bonus ones, which is annoying to me and I hate it. Okay.
So yeah, as you go through the game, it gets harder because there's more information to sift through, and the cases get more complicated. So we're not in great shape here.
No.
The odds are not in our favor. But we're going to start with the banker's quietus. Is that what that says?
Yeah, that is what that says. The banker's quietus is what this case is called.
I don't even know what a quietus is. Case 7. All right, we're not going to... We deliberately didn't want to stream every case of this game because that would ruin the whole game for you guys, because if you ever want to play this on your own, pick up a copy of your own. I mean, if you watch us play through every case, then you've done them all at that point.
Right.
So, but this is only the second time we've done this.
This is gonna suck. Okay.
So.
Oh no. Here we go. Kyle's gonna do voices.
Let us depart to merry old England.
I'm so sorry.
1890.
Oh God. His Watson's my favorite.
It's definitely not inspired by Martin Freeman's Watson
No.
at all. Case 7, the banker's quietus. 11th of April, 1890. The world's first consulting detective, Sherlock Holmes, turns from the fire, where he has restored some measure of warmth to his hands, and comes to his seat before his morning breakfast. Sitting with us around the table are Inspector Lestrade and Dr. Watson. Well, Lestrade, what brings you to our... No, this is Holmes. Well, Lestrade, what brings you to our humble abode on this cold, windy morning? An ill wind, I presume. I forgot what I was doing for Lestrade.
He was deeper and kind of
You presume correctly, Mr. Holmes. Murder. Ah, indeed. Who was the victim and what are the details? The victim was one Oswald Mason, chief accountant for the Bank of England. He was found murdered at his home at 10 o'clock last evening by his wife upon her return from an evening out. He seems to have been a simple, hard-working man, leading a quiet and unassuming life, and, on the surface, there seems to be no motive for the murder. Well, Lestrade, I don't think you came out on a morning like this just to tell me that you have a murder with no motive. I can't believe that Scotland Yard has exhausted all its resources and must now turn to me. Lestrade does not immediately respond. He keeps his dark eyes focused on the plate of kippers in the center of the table. After a moment, he raises his eyes and looks at Holmes. You're right, Mr. Holmes. I think it's premature, but I am here at the request of the Exchequer. I don't know what that word means. Exchequer. Exchequer. Might have to look that one up.
okay.
It seems that Mr. Mason was doing some work for the Treasury, and the Chancellor wants to make sure that Mason's death has nothing to do with the work he was involved in. Do you have any evidence that the murder was related to the Treasury matter? No, none whatsoever. I tried to convince the Chancellor that unless some new evidence turns up, it looks as if Mason's death is just another commonplace murder that I am sure the Yard can solve. I am sure, Lestrade, but as I have said before, and depend upon it, there is nothing so unnatural as the commonplace. Right at the moment, I'm finishing up a vexatious puzzle, so maybe my friends here will be able to look into the matter until I am free. That's the whole case. It's one page.
Okay. All right. Exchequer? What the fuck does that mean?
I don't have any idea what that means.
I'm gonna use Google.
Can I do Maya's voice from the Goblin Emperor? Clearly, crystals. So, you know my audiobook work.
Oh, it's the Treasury.
The Treasury, okay.
It's just another name for the Treasury.
Clearly, Crystals knows my audiobook work. I recorded that book 6 years ago or more? 6 or 7 years ago? I don't remember what Maya sounds like. Sorry. I did audiobook stuff. I haven't done it in a while. Okay.
All right.
So, Oswald Mason, chief accountant for the Bank of England, was murdered at 10 o'clock last night by his wife.
He was found by his wife. He was not murdered by his wife.
Found by his wife. That makes more sense. I was like, why are we here if you know who did it? Okay.
No. They don't think there's a motive. They alluded several times to the weather being bad. So I think we should pay attention to that.
They did. It's cold.
An ill wind. It's cold.
In April? Is that normal for it to be cold in April?
In England?
I guess
yes.
so, yeah.
Normal for it to be cold in England all the time.
Yeah. Fair
right?
enough.
Anybody who lives in England?
Yeah, it's cold in England, says Emil. Okay.
Yeah. It's fucking freezing.
In April. Didn't say... Emil did not say England.
Yeah, it's cold in April.
Cold in April, yeah. All right. So, yeah, because there's a fire... And and it mentioned like he's restored some measure of warmth to his hands. So so it's cold, windy.
And then like, what brings you to our humble abode on this cold, windy morning?
Yeah,
an ill wind.
Indeed. Okay, so I don't think you came out on a morning like this just to tell me you have a murder with no motive. I think it's premature.
Chancellor. Okay, it seems that Mr. Mason was doing some work for the Treasury, and that the Chancellor wants to make sure that Mason's death has nothing to do with the work he was involved in. So there's a Chancellor.
There's no evidence that the Treasury has any relation to his death.
No.
But it doesn't seem like there's any evidence of anything related to his death.
Simple, hardworking man.
Why didn't you tell us how he was killed, Lestrade? Why do we have to go find that out for ourselves?
Professor, nothing to report.
Hey, thanks for the subscription, JLG Addict. 5 consecutive months. Thanks for sticking with Hacker Clan.
Okay, all right, so what are some ideas for things that we want to go find? Do we want to read the newspaper first, or do
That's probably a good idea. We might be able to get some more details about what happened. Maybe. Because this is the evening, right? So yeah, so it's possible the paper came out before after the death. No, it was found at 10 o'clock. Yeah, found at 10 o'clock last night. So yeah, there might be a story in the paper about this.
At least in the deaths. Maybe not, though.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
I'm looking at it and I don't see any in the deaths here.
No, it would probably be a bigger story, I would think. Okay, so looking at this newspaper.
So just to, wait, hold on. Let's just go over what we found out in the case file again. Just for everybody.
Yeah, please.
So Oswald Mason is
the victim.
Is the victim. Lestrade you guys know who Inspector Lestrade is, right?
He's the chief detective at
Scotland Yard.
Yeah, Scotland Yard.
And obviously we know Dr. Watson. So they made mention that the weather is cold, and they pointed it out, which to me, I know that sounds stupid, but like when they point things out,
yeah,
it may help.
Yeah.
Figure something out.
It might.
So Oswald Mason was found murdered in his house at 10 p.m. by his wife. Question, why wasn't she there? Where was she coming back from at 10 p.m.?
Well, that's something we're going to have to find out.
We're going to have to ask her.
Yeah. Where was she?
So the wife is definitely somebody we have to talk to. They don't think there's a motive. Oswald Mason, they said he leads a simple, quiet life.
He works for the Treasury.
He works for the Treasury.
Or was doing some work
for the Treasury for the Chancellor, right?
Oh yeah, because he was the chief accountant for the Bank of England.
Oh, that's...
And he was working for the Treasury.
So he's the chief accountant for the Bank of England.
What's up, Axis of Anarchy? Thanks for joining us.
Which means that, so he has access to, well, not the money, but, well, I guess the money.
Bank of England, that's whoever does their banking with them.
Right.
But
anyway, okay, so, what else? The Chancellor wants to make sure that his death had nothing to do with the work that he was doing for the Treasury.
Yeah.
Which it probably did.
I don't know.
We don't know. But...
We don't know anything about this. We don't even know how he died.
So just
that he was murdered.
Just based off of this information, before we even get to looking at the newspaper, I think that things that we need to do, we need to talk to...
We need to visit the crime scene, I think.
We
visit
need to
his house.
To the wife. I think we need to figure out how he was killed, so we probably need to go to the autopsy guy.
Well, we might find out how he was killed by going to his house.
Okay.
Because there ought to be, I guess not, if it was last night, there might not be any detectives still at the residence.
We don't know. We probably need to talk. I mean, these are just ideas. This isn't necessarily what we're gonna go do, but
yeah. Also, guys, we didn't talk about this, but there's it's on the back of the rule book, I think.
Yeah, there are several people informants.
So there's a list of a few people to go talk to when you start to get stuck.
Yeah, let's go through these just so that you know. So yes, if you get stuck, these are people to go talk to. Sir Jasper Meeks is the head medical examiner at St. Bartholomew's Hospital. He does the autopsies. H.R. Murray is the criminologist. He analyzes items and substances found during the cases. There's Scotland Yard, which is just the police, usually Lestrade and Gregson. Disraeli O'Brien, archivist, with the Office of National Archives, compiles legal and criminal records. There's Somerset House, which is records of births, deaths, marriages, and wills. There's Edward Hall, who's a lawyer at the Old Bailey Court, source of information on court cases and legal affairs. There's Porky Shinwell, owner of the Raven and Rat Pub. He's a source of information on illegal affairs and underworld figures. There's Fred Porlock. He's a rat. Fred Porlock, member of the criminal underground, leaves coded information about the activities of Moriarty. Moriarty is part of this game too.
Yeah.
Leader of the criminal underground.
He's been related to 2 cases so far, I think.
Yeah. At the Parsons and Son toy shop. There's Henry Ellis, reporter for the London Times. So information on current events, mainly on foreign affairs. Quentin Hogg is a reporter for the Police Gazette, source of information on criminal cases. Mycroft Holmes, of course, Sherlock's brother, source of information on all things related to politics and government. He might be... No, I don't know. We'll see.
We don't know enough yet to
Langdale,
know who else to talk to.
Langdale Pike is a social columnist, so he knows all the London society gossip.
Doesn't sound like he's going to be.
There's the Central Carriage Depot, which is a meeting point for the London cab drivers. Source of information on the movements of suspects. There's Lomax, which is a librarian, who is a librarian at the London Library to be consulted for any encyclopedic research. And then, of course, Sherlock. You can go talk to Sherlock.
Yeah, when you're really stuck, you can try and go get a hint from Sherlock, and it won't help.
Right. No, because he'll be like, "Get back out there."
He'll have something for you usually, but it's often something you've either already figured out or you're like, "What? Where did that come from? I don't even know what that means."
Sir, Clearly Crystal's Jasper Meeks is the morgue, basically, because he does the autopsies. So,
yeah.
There's not a specific morgue, but he would be that
Yeah.
for us.
So we know we need to find out how he died, somehow or other.
yeah.
We need to talk to his wife, find out why she was coming home at 10 o'clock at night
Right.
in 1890 London.
Right.
Not normal for the wife to be out without her husband that late at night, right?
Yeah, no, it's not normal. That's why I said it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the dog wants it.
Dog's trying to get in
Whatever.
here. He'll destroy everything.
Who was killed?
Okay,
What else?
let's-
we probably. I mean, I think we're probably gonna have to go try to talk to the chancellor.
Yeah, find out why he thinks this death has something to do with him, because what's going on at the Treasury
Right.
that would necessitate killing this guy? What kind of work was he doing for the Treasury?
Right. So those are the things that I think that we
We might think about following up on.
Yeah.
I don't know why this message isn't coming up in the feed, but I see that JLG Addict said, "How's it going, Kyle and Caitlin? I just finished my playthrough of Astral Chain. How's your playthrough going?" We finished it, and we'll be starting a new game, or an old game. We're going to be going back to Original Nier, tentatively on Monday at 4 o'clock Pacific. Tentatively.
Okay.
Okay,
So now we're gonna go through the newspaper. There may or may not be things that are helpful.
Yeah.
The wife would probably be able to tell you how he died in general terms since she found him. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we definitely have to talk to her.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
She's a
way.
definite. She's
but we're
she's
just
my
not
she's
sure.
my first on my list of people
Yes.
to talk to. But I mean, you don't. The thing about this game is you don't go talk, like, it's not I'm going to go talk to this person. It's I'm going to go to this location in the hopes of talking to
In the
that
hopes
person.
of talking
But
to
you
that
don't know
person.
what you're going to find anywhere you go until you get there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming she's going to be at home, but
But
who
we
knows?
could also miss her.
Yeah, we could also
So-
go to the house and find she's not there.
Okay.
Anyway, so let's look through.
This counts as one of our, like, things that we
This
use.
does not.
No?
This does not count. No.
Okay.
The newspaper is free information.
Got it.
This doesn't
Hey.
count against our
Something
point
else
total
said
or
free-
whatever.
Oh, no. Just free access, not free. Okay. Okay, so let's see what we can find out from the newspaper.
Let's see. There were a couple births. There was a wedding between Mark Wallace and Elizabeth Constance. Frederick Mark Wallace and Elizabeth Constance. A few deaths. Jonathan Small, a hit and run carriage accident. Clara Mercy, after 5 months of painful but patient suffering. That's mysterious. Captain James Barnard Nichols, who was 34. It doesn't say how he died. Funerals. The London Necropolis. Oh, that's an advertisement.
yeah,
for
there are
a
ads
funeral
for funeral
service.
services.
And
Funerals by
and
Clarence
one
Robinson.
for a cremation company, Winston Rawlinson.
Which could be pertinent to
Could be.
this case.
Should I read these? Funerals by Clarence Robinson. London Necropolis, Brookwood. Private station, near Woking. 500 acres, exquisitely planted. Most beautiful cemetery in Europe. 50 minutes from private station, adjoining Waterloo. Refreshment and retiring rooms. Cheap return tickets on Sunday for visitors. Charges fixed by Parliament. And cremation, embalmment, and funerals from Winston Rawlinson, proprietor of the Reformed Funerals Company. Burials in and out of London. Telegrams, Winston Rawlinson, London. Fixed charges for high-class work, Reformed Funerals Company. The personals ads. That one's weird. Errol, welcome home, Violet. Why is that in the personals?
I don't know.
Couldn't say that to her? Or send a...
Just for funsies.
I don't know. God, there's another note from a person to another person in the personals. What happened to sending a letter or something? I don't know. Is the
Would
phone?
you just read them?
Yes. Anyone who can give information as to the family or relatives of Jacob Fitchett, who was last heard of as serving on the United States steamship Dakota, is requested to communicate with Cunningham and Davenport, solicitors, 13 Chancery Lane, Lincoln's Inn, London, West Centre, who know of something to his advantage. Will any lady or gentleman assist a young lady in very reduced circumstances with the loan of £100 British pounds to enable her to learn a profession which would place her in an immediate position to gain a competency to support herself and mother? Oh. Madras Ice House. Notice is hereby given that the undersigned have, on the behalf of Mr. C.A. Ainsley, the administrator to the estate of Colonel G.A. Underwood, deceased, sold the above ice house and hold the net proceeds on behalf of the subscribers. All subscribers or their representatives in India are desired to inform the undersigned of the number and value of the shares held by them, so that the same may be registered and the amount divided proportionately among the subscribers who prove their claims. Binney and Company, Madras.
Whatever.
Monsieur B.J. Meyer of 6 Butchgasse, Frankfurt on the Main, purveyors of Rhenish wines to Her Majesty, begged to announce that frequent mistakes having arisen in consequence of orders being given to representatives of another firm of similar name, they request that on all such applications being made, their respected clients will be good enough to see that they deal only with the above old-established and well-known firm. Literary occupation, a lady or gentleman with £200 at command may secure a light and lucrative appointment with an interest without liability in an established city firm. Whatever. Sporting live ostriches. Huh. There are ostriches in stock.
That you can view.
Yeah.
Cool.
Secondhand sporting guns. This could be important. An ad for a double barrel top lever 12 bore. Let's see. £10. £10, 10 shillings. Or £3, 5 shillings for a gun. And 8 shillings per 100 cartridges. Air guns, army revolvers, rifles at 1/3 of original price. And it gives an address. So that could become relevant depending on what we discover happened to him, if there was a gun involved. We don't know. Emil says, imagine if the ostrich really did it.
Yeah,
Miscellaneous pedigrees and family histories compiled from the most undoubted authority. West End Social Club, 12 Sandlin Street, invites ladies and gentlemen to attend regular activities, raffles, Mondays at 8. Small and miniature replicas of the world's great statuary, finest quality, gives an address. Mosher's Detective Agency. A detective. Telegraphic address, Shadows, London. Agents in the principal cities of the world. Universal Knowledge and Information Office answers questions and supplies information on every conceivable subject possible and translates from and into all languages. Okay. Cheap and good second-hand books. Oxford Music Hall. Miss Violet Blue sings her heart out in the brightest new songs of the year. Yeah.
Carol, welcome home. Violet, yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably something to note.
New books and so there's a concert going on. That could have something to do with a bonus question.
Yeah.
New books and new editions. Castle and Company announce 1-volume Crown, A Dangerous Cat Spa. Okay, whatever. Clarendon Press, new books, just published 2nd edition, enlarged and revised. Shakespeare as a Dramatic Artist, a popular illustration of principles of scientific criticism by R.G. Moulton. The Nursery Rhymes of England, collected by the late James Orchard Hallowell Phillips. Okay, now on to stories. Council hears dedication plans. Last night's London County Council meeting was highlighted by a presentation delivered by Cedric Livingston. In discussing plans for next month's dedication ceremonies at the opening of the dockside development, which Livingston called the culmination of a 10-year dream, the sailor-turned-builder recounted several details of his rags-to-riches life story. During an 1858 voyage of the Glenda, Livingston, then first mate, had brought the ship and its cargo of silk and tea back to England after losing the captain and many crew members. When the ship owners presented him with the captain's share, Livingston turned his efforts to projects ashore. In the past 30 years, he has helped build some of the most modern and successful commercial developments in London and its environs. Mr. Livingston also announced that Mr. Albert Gilbert's latest... That's 2 first names. Mr. Albert Gilbert's latest sculptural effort will be unveiled at the ceremony May 13th. To the editor of the Times. Sir, I beg to suggest the organization of a small force of plainclothes constables mounted on bicycles for the rapid and noiseless patrolling of streets and roads by night. Your obedient servant, Fred Wellesley.
What?
The East End to the editor of the Times. Sir, one who knows is perfectly right when he tells your readers that the police must act before the philanthropist can step in. But in my humble opinion, he might with equal justice go a little further and say that the House of Commons should act besides, and that quickly. It is an acknowledged fact that wherever overcrowding exists, it is the origin of all evil. Crime, misery, filth, and degradation are the outcome. Why can we not grapple with it successfully? The answer to this is vested interests forbid it. Why should overcrowding be allowed to put a premium on property? It was to meet this glaring fraud on the public, for it prevents better housing being built and lower rents charged, that one brought in a bill at the commencement of this session to further amend the law relating to the dwellings of the working classes. If the public would only come forward and give me their support, I feel confident that the best part of my bill would be on the statute book by Easter. As I plead for a population in our midst as large as Wales and as loyal too, and whose only crime is their poverty, I trust it will not be considered that I have said anything on their behalf one whit too strong. I remain, sir, your obedient servant, Henry Brudel Bruce. I'm assuming that's calling back to something, a letter to the editor in an older newspaper.
God, I don't know.
Saying calling attention to one who knows. I don't know.
I don't know. That means nothing to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cool. Ireland.
Cork, April 8th. An Ennis telegram gives further particulars of the shooting of John Fitzgibbon, the herdsman near Milltown Malbay.
Okay.
Fitzgibbon was leaving his house at 6 o'clock in the morning to fodder cattle when 2 shots were fired from the cow house, 1 bullet passing through his body. It is feared the wound will prove fatal. The farm is on the property of Mr. J.D. Wilson, an Englishman, and was purchased by a well-to-do farmer named Cullinan at 21 years' rental. This caused bad feeling against Cullinan, as the purchase was calculated to increase the selling price of land. Fitzgibbon was repeatedly warned to give up the situation, and Cullinan received threatening letters. Okay. Queen Anne statue. Yesterday afternoon, the Lord Mayor, Sir Reginald Hanson, unveiled the new statue of Queen Anne in front of St. Paul's Cathedral. The monument, which is in Sicilian marble, is a replica of that erected in 1712 by Francis Bird, an eminent sculptor, to commemorate the completion of the cathedral. It had in recent years become dilapidated. Foreign and colonial news. The Sultan and the Tsar, by an imperial trade issued today, Fuad Pasha is deputed to proceed to Livadia to convey the Sultan's greeting to the Tsar on occasion of His Majesty's visit to the Caucasus. The unemployed in Rome, a meeting of working men out of employment took place on the Piazza Dante today, this being the first occasion on which the unemployed classes have been permitted to hold an open-air meeting in the city. The meeting was addressed by several working men who complained of the grievances of the poorer classes and demanded work and assistance for those out of employment. The yellow fever epidemic. 94 fresh cases of yellow fever and 7 deaths have been recorded here during the past 24 hours. Ooh. That's of note. Oh, that's in Jacksonville. Never mind. Right, I forgot we're in foreign and colonial news.
Oh, my God.
New York. Further relaxations are being made in the quarantine restrictions, and the railway service to the south is again being increased. Up to the present, 2,403 cases of yellow fever and 242 deaths have occurred at Jacksonville. No very recent news has been received from Fernandina, owing to the only telegraphist there having been attacked by the fever. Prince Bismarck, Berlin, arrived here from Friedrichsruhe at 9:15 this evening. Football in New Zealand. The English football team arrived here from Australia on their second visit to this colony, and today played a match against the 15 of Auckland. The game was hotly contested, but in the end, the Englishmen proved the victors, etc., etc. I don't think we care. Murder in Bloomsbury. This might be the story we've been looking for.
This is the story we've been looking for.
A murder was committed in Bloomsbury last night. Shortly after 10 p.m., Constable Lane, summoned by cries for help, entered the home at 42 Tottenham Court Road of Mr. Oswald Mason, chief accountant of the Bank of England, and found the body of Mr. Mason sprawled across the desk in his study, where he had apparently been murdered by a blow to the head. Mr. Mason's body was discovered by his wife upon her return to their home around 10 p.m. The police report only that the intruder apparently entered by an upstairs window, and judging by the disarray of the study, a struggle occurred in which Mr. Mason met his death. As of this time, the crime has not been brought home to any person, but the best detectives of Scotland Yard are now involved in the investigation and search for the perpetrator of this bloody crime. Mr. Mason is survived by his wife, Rose, and a brother, Cecil. Okay. So, an intruder entered through the upstairs window. There was a struggle, and then the intruder hit him on the head.
Okay, and he was found on his desk?
On his desk, sprawled across the desk in his study.
Blow to the head.
Which is, supposedly that was where he was killed, was in the study.
Okay.
Like the killer just left him sprawled across the desk. Well, that sure sounds like intruder wasn't there to kill him. You know? That sounds like intruder came for something and came upon, like, I'm really starting to wonder now where the missus was. Because maybe he was supposed to be with her. Intruder breaks in thinking the house is going to be empty. And there he is, and all the intruder can do is kill him.
Right.
To the editor of the Times. Sir, paying my daily visit to my church this afternoon, I was surprised to find the caretaker in a semi-stupefied state. Asking her what was the matter, she told me that a man had just entered the church, and finding her all alone, inquired whether I was in the vestry. On receiving a reply in the negative, he said, "I see you are alone," and immediately took out a pocket handkerchief and dashed it in her face. The strong smell of whatever liquid it had been steeped in dazed and stupefied her, and she for a moment or two lost her consciousness. The noise of some of the workmen on the roof seemed to have alarmed this scoundrel, and he bolted out of the church. This incident, sir, perhaps might afford a clue. At any rate, it will warn solitary women who are in charge of your churches. I am your obedient servant, Das Hagen, vestry of St. Mary Woolnorth at St. Mary Woolchurch Hall, Lombard Street, East Centre. Four men who were employed in lifting sand near Glengariff were returning to Bantry when their boat was caught in a sudden squall and capsized. They were all drowned. Their bodies have not been recovered. A man self-dubbed the pioneer of husbandry reports his work to have yielded a new species of sheep, which produces superior mutton. Central Criminal Court, April 10th. Harry Atkinson, before Mr. Justice Denman. Harry Atkinson, 21, tanner, was indicted for wounding Lucretia Prim with intent to murder. Mr. Meade and Mr. Wilfred Robarts prosecuted. Mr. Faversham, at the request of Mr. Justice Buchanan, appeared for the defense. The prosecutrix, a girl of 15, was employed as a waitress at a coffee shop in Bermondsey, at which the prisoner was a customer. On the day in question, the prisoner entered the shop and asked the prosecutrix for a cup of tea. That's a weird word, prosecutrix. The prosecutrix served him one and asked him whether he would have some bread and butter, but he answered in the negative. The prosecutrix was walking out of the shop when the prisoner, having locked the doors, caught hold of her and cut her throat with a penknife, inflicting a serious wound, after which he left the house. The prosecutrix was taken to the hospital, where her wound was attended to. Mr. Faversham, addressing the jury for the defense, submitted that the prisoner was of unsound mind at the time and not responsible for his actions. Evidence was given showing that the prisoner had suffered from epileptic fits, was of morose and sullen temperament, and had received injuries to the head. Dr. Gilbert, surgeon at Holloway Jail, that's a weird way of spelling jail, I forgot, said the prisoner was of very weak intellect and almost an imbecile, but he knew what he was doing. The jury, after a considerable absence from court, found the prisoner guilty on the second count of wounding with the intent to do grievous bodily harm, and added that they were of opinion that he was of weak mind, but not irresponsible for his actions. Mr. Justice Buchanan said the case was a very shocking one, and he sentenced the prisoner to 7 years penal servitude. There is a possibility, by the way, guys, that there is some stuff in this newspaper that doesn't relate to the case, but relates to something else of matter. Like something in the bonus questions could have absolutely nothing to do with the main case. Particularly since this is one of those where Sherlock's like, oh, you guys deal with that. Because I remember there was one case where Sherlock was just like, hey, I'm busy, guys. Here's a newspaper. Just go look at that. Find there's something of interest there. And he was like, he gave us the case, but he was very busy off dealing with Moriarty stuff. And so we had a bunch of bonus questions about that, I remember.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility that there's something that matters in this newspaper that has nothing to do with the murder of Oswald Mason. Anarchist found dead in rooms. A man identified as Nikolai Gorsky was found shot to death in his room near Aldgate Station. A Russian exile, known to be involved in exile political activities. Police attribute his murder to those warring Russian factions. Parliament has asked the Home Secretary to bring pressure to bear upon foreign governments to end their use of British soil as a battleground for foreign internal strife. A similar request last year fell on deaf ears, but it's hoped that recent events will change that circumstance. We're almost done with the newspaper, guys, I swear. Evanson and Co. gift shop reported a break-in Wednesday night. What day is it today? It's Friday. So that was the day before the murder. It was Wednesday. The lock on the back door had been forced open. Nothing appears to have been stolen. The safe in the office had not been tampered with. I wonder if that's related. Know what I mean?
Break-in Wednesday night. The lock on the back door.
Could have been the same person. And then there's some personal ads looking for people looking for places to live, it looks like. And an ad for a bicycle.
Which is interesting because of the bicycles.
Because of the guy saying that there needs to be bicycle cops.
Yeah. I'm curious about your theory that he was only there to come and steal something from him and not actually murder him. I would like to know what the murder weapon was, because if he didn't have, if he brought a weapon with him, that would suggest to me that he meant to use it. And if he did not, if he used an object from the study,
that's in the house,
then I would go with he didn't intend to kill him.
I still think we need to talk to the wife. Now, we've gone through the whole newspaper. I still think that the wife is a good person to go talk to.
But why? What? So I want to be careful with.
I want to find out where she was.
Right.
Why was she out so late without him?
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
I think that's important. We could also find out potentially what the murder weapon was from her. I kind of doubt it, but you never know.
Okay.
What other possible leads do we want to follow up on?
So we don't need how he was killed.
I don't, which makes me think we don't need to go talk to
I want to know
Jasper Meeks.
Yeah, no, we don't. I want to know, unless we're the only person that I would think items and substance, H.R. Murray would know what the murder weapon was if we don't find it.
Would he? What's he do?
He's all items and substances.
Oh, yeah, criminologist, yeah. So he might be somebody to talk to if we don't find out the weapon.
If we want to know what the murder weapon was.
Yeah, if we don't find the murder weapon
and were there
else.
papers missing from the desk, we need to find out if he actually was able to get them.
Yeah, if anything was missing from the study.
Right, because then that would tell us.
Seems to be very obvious police work that we haven't heard about yet, you know?
Yeah.
That would seem to me like...
Well, because and the chancellor's trying to make sure that it didn't have anything to do with...
If they're coming to us to find out, and we need to talk to the chancellor. We need to find out why he's suspicious of this death.
Right. Okay. Is there anything else we can think of?
I don't know.
Okay, think about it for a second. I'm going to get some more coffee.
Okay.
As you can see, my coffee is dwindling, and now it is cold, and I need more.
So,
talk to Kyle.
Those of you hanging out with us, it's been an hour, and so far we have not followed one lead yet, because it took us a while to get situated and everything, and then the newspaper always takes a while. But for those of you who have been with us and have been paying attention, I know it was a lot. I know it gets verbose reading through the newspaper. But for those of you in the chat that are with me on this, what are your thoughts? Where should we go? What kind of things do we need to find out right now to solve this case? Right now I'm thinking, which, I mean, you just heard us talking about it, but I'm thinking we need to go we need to go visit his house where we are expecting to find his wife. We don't know if she'll be there, but that's the best place we can think to look right now. Go to the house to talk to the wife. Because because I want to find out why she wasn't home at 10 o'clock until 10 o'clock at night, to find her husband's body. Actually, now that I think about, I'm seeing a lot of people agreeing with that idea. If it's related to financials, we need to talk to the money guy to see what papers may or may not be missing. The money guy. The money guy. Oh, the chancellor, the guy that, or the chancellor who is concerned about this this death being was she at the concert maybe? Hold on, sorry, getting distracted. We need to talk to the chancellor because he's concerned about this death being related to stuff at the treasury. And we need to find out why he's concerned about that. Somebody asks, was the wife at the concert maybe? Oxford Music Hall, Miss Violet Blue sings her heart out in the brightest new songs of the year throughout the month. Ooh, that's a good theory, clearly, Crystals. It depends on when the concert started happening, but it says throughout the month. It doesn't give specifics on like days of the week or anything like that, but that's a very solid theory on where she was. But that still begs the question, why wasn't he with her? Why did she go to the concert alone if that's the case? I still think we need to talk to her to find that out. You're not out until 10 unless you have a reason. Exactly. Especially without your husband in 1890 London. Very unusual for a married woman to be out that late by herself. That's one lead that we need to find out. I was gonna say something about an autopsy. Talking to Sir Jasper Meeks might not be a bad idea, after all, now that I think about it, because we don't know when he was actually killed. We know when his body was found.
Indeed.
So an autopsy could be useful to find out how long he had been dead.
You know what else in the newspaper
by the time they found him
hit me was the West End Social Club.
Yeah?
That started at 8 p.m. So maybe she was at that. Because then
that's another theory. Somebody else
sense.
suggested she might have been at the concert.
Ah.
Because the Oxford Music Hall, Violet Blue sings her heart out all throughout the month. I mean, we don't know specific times or dates or anything, but yeah, Social Club is another possibility.
It's just because they said the time. That's what hit me.
Every Thursday at 7, but that's still
Raffles Monday at 8.
Whist every Thursday at 7.
Fuck. Okay, never mind.
But Whist could take 3 hours, or 2.5 or whatever before she gets home.
But when was he found?
10 p.m.
On a Thursday.
Yes. She found him at 10 p.m.
Oh, okay.
So she could have been at Whist for a couple hours and then went home.
How do we know it's a Thursday?
It's Friday now, and it was yesterday.
Great.
The backstory of this dude, who was he? What was he doing recently?
Right. Which all we know is he's working for the Treasury.
Yeah, we know he works for the Bank of England. He's a chief accountant.
Yeah.
And he was doing some work for
the Chancellor.
The Treasury. And the Chancellor and the Exchequer want to make sure that
that his death has nothing to do with the work he was doing.
Yeah.
Which to me suggests that his work was highly valuable.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so who are we thinking we really need to follow up with?
We definitely want to talk to his wife. That was the number one thing that people said.
All right.
We want to talk to the Chancellor.
Okay.
His wife we ought to be able to find pretty easily. Chancellor may take some more digging.
Well, we know where his wife is, probably.
She's probably at home.
The Chancellor we can look up in the directory.
We found the address of the court of the... Oh, it doesn't say the important parts of the address, though, so we're going to need to look in the directory for Watson. Or Mason. Mason is his name. Yeah, we're not super far in, Silver. We just... What we spent most of our time doing was reading through the newspaper, and most of this information is irrelevant.
At this point.
But we have to read through all of it because we don't know what's relevant yet.
I think, Blinksy, I think you're totally right. I think it was definitely something blunt, and I think I want to say it was probably something, because the study was in disarray.
Yeah, I suspect they picked something up off that desk, hit him on the head, he fell backwards. They said sprawled on the desk. They didn't say face up or whatever.
No,
but
sprawled.
Yeah. But I think they're like...
But also, the study being in disarray could either point to the guy looking for something, or it could point to a struggle.
Could also point to, all right, I came here to murder this guy. Now I need to make it look like I came here for something else. Who knows?
Could also be that.
We don't know.
Yes, Emil, I think that...
Yes, they are able to approximate time of death.
It's
so
not as accurate as...
We can find that out. Silver, the newspaper told us that the intruder came in through an upstairs window.
Which means they were... How'd they get in?
Yeah, how'd they get up there to go in through an upstairs window? A ladder or something? Or they climbed a trellis or something like that? I don't know.
I mean, more to the point, we have to go to the crime scene.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find out.
Yeah, we gotta go investigate.
They got in, because like how the fuck did they get to the upstairs window?
Mason Oswald, 42 West Center.
Okay, so we are gonna go.
That's that.
We're gonna go visit the crime scene and see what they have to say.
For those curious, there is a map here of
London.
We may need it for something, because sometimes there are directions that are like, it was a block east of such and such or whatever,
Right.
And then we'll look at it. We're going to 42 West Center, so there's different sections of the map.
Which are notated here. This
yeah,
is East Center, West Center, Northwest, Southwest, Southeast. Obviously, this is the Thames River, if you're familiar with London at all. Even if you're not, that's what that is.
But
and they do have the real, like, it's accurate. Like, they have the real places that were here. So Buckingham Palace is over here.
They just have it broken up into 5 sections.
Here's
so that
Waterloo Station. I'm trying to think about things that are famous.
British Museum.
British Museum's here. So yeah, this is London.
Yeah, but anyway, we're going to 42 Tottenham Court Road. It said in the directory 42 WC. That's West Center. So if you're trying to find it on the map, you're looking for the number 42 somewhere in this area. I see 43. There it is. So that's where we're headed. The map is really not important unless you can't find a specific number for something without looking at it.
Linksy says,
somehow.
so do they know what time the wife left the theater or whatever compared?
We don't know where the wife was yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
We're only theorizing on where she was.
We are speculating on where she was. And we think it's really weird that he wasn't out with her.
Yeah, which is why we want to go talk to her. We want to find out where she was, why he wasn't there.
1890 London, and, it was not common, I think, for a wife to be out and about without an escort, I think.
All right, there is still a police officer on duty.
Okay.
Constable Parks, on duty at the Mason House, shows us the study, the scene of the crime. We find the study in shambles. The office chair has fallen back and all elements which were on the desk are scattered on the ground. The inkwell has spilled its contents on the carpet, and the stain has extended to a book which was apparently on the desk. The knickknacks from the commode have also been knocked over, but the furniture from the back of the room is intact. At the foot of the window, we also find the fragments of a completely destroyed plaster statuette. Wiggins is near the window, a magnifying glass in hand, examining the windowsill. Wiggins is the head of the Baker Street Irregulars. There's a palm print here on the windowsill. It looks like it was left in a residue of plaster dust, says Wiggins, as he replaces his magnifying glass in his coat pocket. Where was the body found, Parks?
It was sprawled across the desk. You can see the blood stain on the top. The blighter put up quite a fight, I must say.
How was he killed?
Head was bashed in by a statue. It was sent over to the lab for old Murray to look at.
Murray, that would be the criminologist.
Yes.
Is there any indication of how the murderer got into the house?
It looks as if he entered by the upstairs window. It was found open, and it shows signs of forced entry.
Who found the body?
His wife. She said she was at her weekly whist game at the West End Social Club.
Yeah! Hey, who said it? I said it. Oh, shoot. Look who's thinking. Look who's thinking.
She arrived home around 10 o'clock and found her husband dead.
Did she see anyone in or around the house?
She said she saw and heard nothing.
Is the room as she found it?
Yes, she said that as soon as she saw her husband lying sprawled across the desk, she ran outside for help. Constable Lane came at the sound of her cries and took charge. The only things removed were the body, which was taken to Bart's, and some of Mr. Mason's papers, which were taken to Scotland Yard. Oh yes, and the statue, which was sent to the criminology lab.
And where is Mrs. Mason?
She was in a state of shock and was taken to her sister's, Mrs. Edward Farmer.
Well, we found out very little from that visit, honestly, that we didn't already know.
I was right.
I mean, or couldn't already speculate.
I was right.
But we learned where to find the wife. So that's good. We learned that
he was killed by a plaster statuette.
He was killed by a plaster statuette. So that sounds like a crime of opportunity to me.
Yep.
Like the invader was there for something else.
Yep. And some of his papers are taken to Scotland Yard.
The wife was not doing anything unusual. She was out at her weekly social club event thing.
Yeah.
Normal for him to not be with her. So that suspicion's gone.
He must, like, whoever did this
some of Mr.
must have
Mason's
climbed up to the window, which to me I mean, I'm not saying that women can't climb, but to me that suggests a man.
Also, I mean, there was also a struggle. And
there was a struggle.
Typically, a woman is not going to have an easy time overpowering a man.
If this was a gunshot, then that would be different.
Yeah. So I think our suspect is a man.
Is male.
Yeah.
I hate that. Trust me. I wish that more women could kick ass in 1890, but I just don't think that that's as probable.
No, I think I think our suspect is
They
a
have
man.
actually had female
They have.
suspects
But
in
they-
other cases, but I just don't think that this is going to be a female.
But they follow the...
Irene Adler totally could have. Listen, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just trying to go with what seems to be
Right.
the most plausible at this moment with the information we have. It could be a woman. Like, I hope
But
it's
this
a woman. That'd be badass.
This is also a guy who's a banker.
If there are fingerprints, you can check the wife. If there aren't fingerprints, that means there were gloves. There's a handprint on the window that has plaster.
On the window where? The window in the study?
Yeah. At the foot of the window, we also find fragments intact. Oh, wait.
The fragments of a completely destroyed...
There's a palm print here on the windowsill. It looks like it was left in the residue of plaster dust. Yeah.
I don't think that they have fingerprinting technology yet
No.
in 1890. Why is everybody's name orange? So
Fair finger clubs equals premeditated probably. I don't know. I don't know if it's definitely not accurate fingerprint tech. Yeah. Depends on the weather. That's right. It was cold.
it was cold.
Cold and bad weather. To be climbing.
Yeah. But I will say, so this guy's a banker, the victim,
Yeah.
and there was a struggle that took place in the study before he died.
Yeah.
That it does not sound like this is a professional killer, you know?
Right.
This person,
So they said too that the desk chair was knocked back, right?
yeah, the office chair's fallen back, all the elements on the desk are scattered on the ground. The inkwell spilled on the carpet. Stained.
But nothing at the back of the room was disturbed.
Right. The furniture at the back of the room is intact.
So he came in. Presumably, the victim was sitting at the desk.
I want to point out something else that's oh no, never mind. Just there was some of Mr. Mason's papers were taken to Scotland Yard.
No, I know that. I wrote that down.
But they said there was nothing else. Well, no, nothing else about the crime scene had been altered. We still don't know if the murderer took anything.
Yeah, we don't know. No, the murderer totally could have taken the papers that he was looking for.
Yeah. I don't know if we need to talk to the wife now. Not with any sense of urgency.
No.
We know where she was. We know and why he wasn't with her.
Yeah. I think like maybe the forensic lab is the best place to go first. Get whatever info they have it to match it to suspects. Yeah, we have no suspects.
We have no suspects. Yeah. But
how do
we still have
how can we get suspects?
But we still need to talk to the chancellor.
Yeah, because I want to know
find out why
what was he working on?
Yeah, why? What was he working on?
Or
Why does he
Scotland
think
Yard to find out what papers
were taken?
had?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, but those aren't the papers that were taken.
No, but what papers did they need to take away from the crime scene?
Yeah. That's what I'm curious about, because that's going to give us that's going to tell us
possible motive
and possibly who would want to. We have no suspects.
No.
We have to figure out who this might be. He was a banker. Why don't we check to see if there's any suspects in his papers or in the papers taken to Scotland? Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say our tops to go to are Scotland Yard.
And the chancellor, if we could find out where to find him.
But we don't know where to find him. Well, Bank
we
of
could probably
England.
look up the Treasury yeah. Let's see. The Treasury, if I can find it. Oh boy. Oh no, it's in the back. Bank of England does have an address in here. Government offices, Office of Records. I don't see anything for the Treasury.
But the Bank of England.
Yeah. That's not who I want to talk to, though. I mean, yeah, we could learn something there, but we could certainly learn more if we could find the Chancellor.
Chase is asking us if we're hungry.
Yes.
Do you want food?
Yes, I do.
From where?
I don't know.
I can hear his phone out
Yeah.
there.
It's funny.
Okay. Blinksy's on it. Okay. Banker means he might be responsible for loans and debt. If there's anyone who took a loan out through the bank and couldn't pay it, they might have taken documents relating to the case.
Maybe.
It's possible.
Possible it's something that small. He's the chief accountant at the Bank of England. Which is why I feel like we're not going to find much there in terms of what he was working on for the Treasury, because if he's the chief accountant, like, there's nobody above him, really, to say, oh, yeah, he was working on this. I can't find the Treasury. The Department of the Treasury. I want that address. Or the name of the Chancellor. Or the Exchequer. You know? That's who I want to talk to. But I don't see it anywhere. Meh.
Yeah, Blinksy, the only thing that I think... Yeah, the window kind of suggests that it was somebody who was entering in... I mean, I don't know. Was it somebody that he knew? I would think not, because I think if that was going to be the case, then he would have just entered in normally and then tried to take the papers.
It's still possible that whoever killed him didn't expect him to be home.
Yeah. Totally.
Seems unlikely since, well, we don't know what time it happened. The wife was gone early in, like, her whist game started at 7.
Right.
So he could have been killed at 7:30.
Right.
Or something.
Right.
Treasury. Ha! Found it.
Okay.
12 Southwest. I want to go there first.
Okay, so we're going to go to the Treasury. That's our second.
Yes.
That's our second lead. That's the word I was looking for.
Lead.
These are leads.
Yes.
We have to have less leads than Sherlock.
No, it's not. It's just that you get points for answering the questions, and you get extra points if you happen to use less leads than Sherlock, which would never happen.
Right.
But you lose like 5 points or something for every lead more than him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you score more points than he does, then you win. He doesn't get any points for the bonus questions. He only answers the main ones. Anyway. So he has like 100 points.
Razzie the Bear said, wasn't there something about housing in the newspaper? Maybe the guy who killed him wanted to clear a debt. In the window, steal documents, surprise at the banker's there or something. Yeah. No, I totally think it was a robbery gone wrong.
That's what I think. But we just don't know enough yet. Okay. Sir Adrian Malmquist, Knight of the Order of Garter, Knights Commander of the Order of the Bath, Under Secretary to the Chancellor of the Exchequer, enters the conference room, where we have been kept waiting for the last 20 minutes. He is as imposing in person as he is portrayed to be by the newspapers. At 39, he is one of the youngest members of the present government. He is tall, aristocratic in bearing, and moves and talks with great energy. Sorry to keep you waiting, but my meeting with the Chancellor ran longer than expected. Throws my whole day's schedule off. This won't take long, will it? Well, The Chancellor asked me to give you all the help I could, interrupts Sir Adrian, as he paces up and down the room. I only met the fellow 5 or 6 times. Capable fellow, very capable. Damned inconvenient, this murder. Damned inconvenient. Mason was to hand me over a report about irregularities.
So far, the loyal opposition hasn't got wind of the affair, and it is important that they don't until we have cleared it up and have apprehended the culprit. I assured the Chancellor that the matter would be concluded this week. Bloody inconvenient. Could we... We have to get someone to replace Mason. Do you have any idea who murdered Mason? Has it anything to do with his work here?
That's what...
I must get...
Please, Sir Adrian. If you would just answer a few questions, we may be able to throw some light on this matter. First, do you feel that Mason's death might have anything to do with his work at the Treasury?
I wish I could answer that. I never expected it. There is no question that the investigation dealt with large sums of money, but murder, it just doesn't fit. It won't stop the investigation, just delay it. The papers that Mason was working on are all accounted for, but again, we had copies of all the important papers in our files, so taking them would not have stopped the investigation or saved the culprit.
That brings us to the next question. Do you have any suspicions as to who the guilty party might be?
No, I do not. You must understand. The investigation has to come from the outside. The findings must be above reproach, with no question of political advantage. That is why I have stayed out of the investigation. All I can do is give you what facts I have.
That would be a good start. For the first time since he entered the room, Sir Adrian sits and faces us across the conference table.
Here are the facts. As you know, the Exchequer is responsible for all financial business. I should say the financial well-being of the Empire. This year we were responsible for the distribution of some £600 million. A large sum to keep check of, but we must. 6 months ago, it came to the government's attention that Bacon and Company, one of London's largest investment houses, was in financial straits. Their difficulties had arisen because of their extensive commitments in South America, where political unrest, commercial instability, and the often irresponsible financial policies of various republics have made any form of investment highly speculative. The firm is solvent, but it is not in possession of sufficient liquid assets to meet its current liabilities. South American politics features largely in the story. Bacon's dealings were with foreign governments, the National Bank of Uruguay, the Buenos Aires Railways, and several other such enterprises. Very early on, when the storm was brewing and it was known in the innermost city circles that Bacon's position was insecure, the governor of the Bank of England, Lionel Foxcroft, had inquired of the Chancellor whether the Argentine government might not be persuaded to deal in some way or other with the enormous bulk of discredited South American securities then weighing down the London stock market. The interest rates have been at 5% since the first of the year. If the market had to assume Bacon's losses, the interest rate might rise to 6% or even higher. Well, you know what that means.
No.
Not really. Can you tell?
That's what I am trying to do, says Malmquist as he squirms impatiently in his chair. To make a long story short, Her Majesty's government and the Bank of England have guaranteed to cover the discredited securities held by Bacon and Company and their investors. An audit of Bacon's books showed short-term liabilities totaling £3,250,000, a reasonable price to pay for long-term stabilization of the economy.
Sounds good to us.
We nod in agreement with Wiggins' concession. Yes, except for one problem. So far, we have redeemed £4,570,000 worth of securities. If the opposition finds out, we could end up being the opposition next year. We'll save their bacon, but damn if they'll profit by it.
Malmquist pushes back his chair, removes a gold watch from his pocket, and opens it.
Well, that's all the time I have. Any help you can give us will be greatly appreciated. Good day.
What are we looking for?
£1,320,000. What else? The difference between what the audit showed on Bacon's books and the securities that have been redeemed.
Where did these securities come from?
Damn it, that's what Mason was to tell me.
Sir Adrian bolts out of his chair.
Bloody inconvenient. I certainly hope Holmes will apply his considerable talents to this matter.
I am sure Mr. Holmes will be interested in this matter if it will throw some light on Mr. Mason's death.
Yes, of course, we're all concerned with solving Mason's murder. If we can solve the murder and clear up this matter at the same time, so much the better. Good day.
I'm so confused.
I need to go back and look at all this again, because holy crap, that's a lot.
That is so much information. Yeah, the dude totally seems anxious to me, too. I agree. What's his name?
He's just pompous.
Yeah.
Adrian Malmquist.
I don't think he's the murderer. But
No, he's got 1,000 titles and...
Yeah, I just, yeah. And why would he be going in there to steal anything? And he cares more about the money. Also, they had made copies of all the important documents, so it's not like he would have benefited from going into Mason's house to take anything. So I don't think he's the murderer, but somebody from Bacon and Company.
Well, it also sounds like nobody would have benefited from taking, unless it was to get information as opposed to take information away.
So, but he was about to tell him where those whatever securities came from. That's what Mason was about to tell Malmquist.
Right.
So that information is probably what got him killed.
Possible that the murder was a plan to stop the investigation from coming to fruition. Possible.
To stop the investigation of
In which case, it would
Bacon
be
and Company.
Bacon. Yeah.
So it's got to be somebody from Bacon and Company, I think.
I mean, I don't know. That might be where the wind is blowing right now, but at least we know what Mason was doing.
Yeah. Okay, let's go through this again, because this is crazy. Okay, he didn't seem to care about the opposition party would have. Yeah. Stock troubles? How awful. Yeah. Okay. Cable fellow. Okay. Mason was to hand me over a report about irregularities.
Yeah, Mason was, so let's see, Bacon and Company, which is an investment house, was not doing well.
Right.
Because they were overcommitted in South America. They were dealing with Uruguay, Buenos Aires, and others.
Anything in the paper about that stuff?
I'm looking for foreign stuff. It's on the other, yeah. Not in that part of the world.
No. Okay. So they're overcommitted in South America.
Right. People were starting to learn that Bacon was not doing well. So the governor of the Bank of England asked the chancellor if the Argentine government could deal with...
I don't understand what securities are.
It's investments.
They picked up a lot of debt in South America. If this news got public, it would have raised interest rates a lot. The Crown paid off the debt to cover this up. There's discrepancies with the amount of the payouts on the debts.
Right. Yeah, something like that, basically. Well, no, this says if the market had to assume Bacon's losses, then the interest rate would rise. So that's if the Crown paid off the debt, then the interest rates would rise. I think. Oh, no. You're right, Steel Necco. Yeah. Steel Necco's got it. So the government paid $3.25 million to make the problem go away. And then
But they redeemed $4.57 million
in securities. Right. So they're wondering where that 1.32 went.
in terms of like does Bacon have that? Wait, I'm so confused.
The government offered to cover to make him solvent, basically, to intervene and fix the problems with this government, with his debts to South America.
You mean Bacon and
with
Company?
Bacon, yeah, Bacon and Companies, yeah, sorry. So the government offers to intervene for Bacon and Company. Bacon and Company takes 4.57 million pounds to cover that up, to make the problems go away. Mason is in the process, or no, Mason comes in later, but they audit Bacon's books and they go, wait a second, you only owed 3.25. So why did you take 4.57? So they hire Mason to figure that out. What happened to that other 1.32?
Okay. Okay.
Basically, that's what I'm getting from it. I don't know. There's some old verbiage and some stuff dealing with things that are not my expertise. So
yeah, not mine at all. I am not good with financial things. Several million pounds. Wonder how many kilos that is. Oh.
So that's what Mason was working on. Was trying to figure out what Bacon and Company needed an extra 1.32 million for.
Yeah, fuck finance. I'm so bad at this. This is really not my forte at all.
I need to look up what securities are.
Yeah,
just to be safe. Securities. Search. Why is my phone so slow today? A thing deposited or pledged as a guarantee of the fulfillment of an undertaking or the repayment of a loan. Yeah. Yeah, so we got it right. We know what we're talking about, kinda. Kinda, sorta.
Okay.
Okay.
So.
Oops.
We need to go.
Talking to Bacon and Company seems like a good idea.
Yeah, I feel like that's. I don't know how else we get
anywhere from here.
Yeah.
Emil's like, it's like a math problem. They owed $3 million, took $4.5 million.
Who killed the guy in the study? Show your work.
That is a weird math problem. Okay, so number 3 is gonna have to be Bacon and Company.
Okay. Pass me that directory.
I'll look it up, thank you.
All right, then.
Bacon and Co. 20 West Center.
Okay.
No.
We are informed that due to the advice of their solicitor, the directors of Bacon and Company will not discuss the matter now under investigation.
No.
Wasted lead.
Wasted lead. Shit. I hate that. Fuck.
Ha!
Something.
I'll go back to...
Solicitors. Wait. Didn't we read something about solicitors?
Yeah.
Where?
Oh, man.
God damn it. Ugh. That's so annoying. Well, we've already lost. Just so you know.
I will consider it a win if we can answer all the questions correctly.
Yeah. Well, okay.
But that is a tall order.
Yeah, what else could we...
Okay. We might be getting distracted by the money now.
Well, yeah, but it's not about the money, but it is about the motive.
The motive for killing. Well, yeah, but the police don't seem to... They didn't find any evidence to say that his work with the Treasury was the reason he was killed. And that's because of the fact
that.
that's because of the fact that, I mean, it looks like a burglary gone wrong, except that nothing's missing.
Right.
But they didn't come in with a weapon. They used a plaster statue that was on the desk. You know? So they didn't... It doesn't seem like this intruder came there to kill him, to me. Because if you're going to kill somebody, you're going to bring something to do the job.
Yeah.
Right? A knife, a gun, something.
Right.
You're going to bring the weapon. You're not going to pick up a statue that's in the house.
Right.
To finish him off, especially not when you're coming up on him and there's a struggle.
Right.
But there's nothing missing. So it wasn't somebody there to gain information, because if they were there to gain information, they would have taken something. And they weren't doing it to prevent information, because that would have done them no good anyway, because the Treasury still has copies of everything. And again, nothing was missing. Unless, like you were saying, they killed him to stop him from completing his investigation and turning over his results.
Right.
But I feel like if that was why they were there, it would have been, the murder would have been cleaner.
Yeah.
So Silver brings up that we could go to Scotland Yard and look at the papers that are on his desk.
We could do that. This could be totally there to throw us off completely, and maybe it has nothing to do with his job. Like, what if it has to do with the wife?
Yeah.
Like, what if there's like a lover or something like?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
know.
Like, what if it's something totally off of all of this?
Right. Or something else to do with his job that doesn't have to do with the Treasury.
Right.
Like the people were bringing up the idea of loans and stuff.
Loan, yeah.
But with nothing missing from his study, why do you break into his house? You know? Why break into the guy's house? You're not there to kill him, because if you're there to kill him, you'll bring a weapon. So you're breaking into his house for some other reason, but you didn't take anything. Maybe you didn't expect him to be there, you freak out after killing him, and you just panic and leave and forget to take the thing that you came there for. Or maybe you did take something, and it's just something that nobody's noticed is missing.
Right.
Person could have brought a weapon. If they fought, the person might have dropped the weapon and grabbed anything they found. Yeah, possible, but there was no weapon found anywhere. Unless they picked it up before they left. What if it was an evil mother-in-law? Just the thrill of breaking and entering.
Yeah, that's not really how this game usually works.
I have a feeling that if we go investigate the papers at Scotland Yard, we're going to find some of the same information we just got by talking to the Chancellor and nothing else. That's my suspicion on that lead. It's a good one to save for later when we're giving up all hope on beating Sherlock and just
We've
throwing
already
everything
given
at the
up
wall.
hope at beating Sherlock. He's already got it by now.
After 3 leads.
Yeah.
I mean, we did absolutely just waste one on the Bacon and Company thing.
Oh, we're not gonna win.
No, I know.
There's no way. I just want to figure it out, but I want to do it.
Razzie says go talk to the wife, which is not a bad idea.
That's
at this
not,
point.
and especially because they gave us the person.
Yeah.
Murray's another person that they mentioned, obviously, because he's got
the statue and
might have information.
maybe. We could go to the bank. I don't think we'll get anything there. Let's go talk to the wife.
Okay. Mrs. Edward Farmer.
Farmer Edward. 33 West Center.
This is another wasted lead. I'm going to be so mad. It is, isn't it?
Mrs. Rose Mason, her face pale against the black of her mourning dress, joins us in the parlor. She is a handsome woman in her late 30s. We offer our condolences before asking the deceased accountant's wife to tell us just what she remembers of the previous evening's events. I went to the West End Social Club for my weekly whist game, as I do every Thursday night. I left Oswald alone at home, working on the papers he had brought there from the office. He's been so busy lately that he has had time for very little other than work. When I returned home about 10 o'clock, I went immediately to the study. Mrs. Mason almost loses her composure, but continues stoically. The place was such a mess. Books were strewn about, furniture overturned, and there in the midst of the wreckage was poor Oswald. I can't think of who would want to hurt him. He was the dearest man on earth. Why, only last week he gave me a Venus de Milo replica to commemorate our 17th wedding anniversary. We spent our honeymoon in Paris, and we often went to the Louvre to see the original. When I saw the statue broken into pieces... The rest of her sentence is lost in her sobs. We're sorry to trouble you at this time. We know it's hard on you, but we only have 1 or 2 more questions. No, please, I want to help. Was your husband expecting any visitors last night? No. In fact, he was looking forward to being alone. He said he only had a few hours' work left and that he could do the report for the Treasury at the bank the next day. Cecil, his brother, was to give us an anniversary party on Friday, and he... Mrs. Mason is unable to continue.
tearfully, she leaves arm in arm with her sister.
Forgot about Cecil. So he could do the report the next day. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Also of note is the fact that the murder weapon was an anniversary present, which points to that possible this is all a red herring idea and it was a mistress thing. But if it was a mistress, why would they break in through the upstairs window?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No. And also, why would there be a struggle like that?
Yep.
So probably not. I'm thinking, yeah, the weapon is just an opportunity thing. Why break in through the window? What were they there for? Because I don't think they came there to kill him. Oh, this is driving me crazy. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out the motive on this. We have no motive and no suspect. Maybe somebody from Bacon and Company. But I still think that, no. Somebody like that, they would have hired a professional. Ugh.
I know.
This is so frustrating. All right, what are your highlights from previous visits everywhere? We could go talk to the brother. I'm not sure what that would get us. Fallen Moon, I don't know how long ago you left. We went and talked to the wife and didn't really learn much. Other than the fact that the murder weapon, the statue, was an anniversary gift. He was not expecting any company. Which makes sense, because they came in through the upstairs window.
Yeah.
How the hell they got there, I don't know. So we could go look at the papers at Scotland Yard. We could go look at the remnants of the statue and any other effects that the criminologist has.
Yeah.
For forensic evidence.
Yeah.
Bacon and Company was a big fat nothing. We've got nobody to follow up with on that lead right now. Unless we could find a lawyer that happens to be theirs, but I don't think we know who their lawyer is to know who to check on.
Well, Edward Hall, lawyer at the Old Bailey Court, source of information on court cases and legal affairs.
So we could find out who their lawyer is through him, probably.
H.R. Murray.
Yeah, that's the criminologist.
Scotland Yard. I don't know.
Jasper Meeks might be able to tell us when he died. I don't know if that helps us right now. Because we still don't know why they were there. And we know a window.
Chase wants to get French toast.
French toast.
And is asking if we have any preferences.
No, I don't know who makes good French toast? Magnolia Grill, I don't know. Unless the brother has something, but the only reason to go talk to the brother is if we have no other ideas on who to talk to, I feel like, because we have no reason to go talk to the brother right now. I mean, we could go talk to it. Like, he might be somebody a little bit less emotionally distraught than the wife.
I mean, if
to get
there was
information from.
something else.
Hmm.
He's asking where he can get French toast, and I said I have no idea because we never order it.
No, I don't
said
know.
the Daily Grill might have it.
It might.
Yeah, I don't know if the brother's gonna have something.
This doesn't sound like something that we're talking to the shady. This is not something to do with the seedy underbelly of London.
No.
It's probably not something to do with Moriarty.
No.
Screw it. Let's all just go get French toast. Emil says, I am so lost right now. Yeah, we all are, Emil.
That's what this game does to you. It gives you hope, and then it dashes all of your hope.
I never had hope on this one.
Okay.
I had a couple of possible theories that have basically, I mean, my theory is still a possibility, but I still don't have enough information to find out. Oh, this is frustrating. So we could talk to the criminologist for forensic evidence. Maybe that gets us something. Probably not. We could talk to Scotland Yard about the papers that they took from the crime scene. Maybe that gets us something new. Probably not. It's probably going to be stuff we already have. We could talk to Cecil, the brother. No idea what, if anything,
I mean,
that would turn up.
You know, this is becoming the time of in the game where we just start
Where
following
we just
everything.
following every lead. It is, because we're at a loss. What else we got? That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
It's those three possibilities. And Sherlock for a hint, but I don't think we need to go to him yet.
I mean, he may point us in the right direction, though, and it may be worth it.
Yeah, because otherwise we're going three places to maybe get something.
Let's go talk to Sherlock.
Okay. 42 Northwest.
42 Baker Street.
It's 221.
Oh, it's 221.
221B Baker Street.
And that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't at all. We find Holmes in the middle of examining the shelf of his library containing his archives of the Times. What now, Wiggins? You already have no more inspiration about this case? It's difficult for us to figure out the various motives which could be behind this murder, admits Wiggins, somewhat embarrassed. The world of finance is quite alien to us. Turning to us, Holmes seems a bit disappointed. But it's so simple. In a case like this one, it's normal to apply the basic methods of an investigation. The scene of the crime should bring indications regarding the modus operandi of the culprit, or at the very least some traces and useful clues if the newspaper is to be believed. Then you should inquire as to his work habits with his employers and his colleagues. I think you'll quickly come to a conclusion about a possible link between the death of Mason and his work. I'll leave you to think over these few ideas, Wiggins, says Holmes, as he turns back to his library. Let's see, March. This case goes back so far. He's working on something else. Entirely. That's frustrating, because you know that's going to be a bonus question.
Yep.
Oh, God. Okay. That says to me we need to go to the bank. We need to go to the bank and talk to the people that he works with and for. Because that will tell us something. Should bring indications regarding the modus operandi of the culprit, or at the very least, some traces and useful clues.
He's probably working on the anarchists found dead in rooms.
You think?
Probably.
We need to go looking through some old newspapers to solve that.
March.
Yeah. That's 2 newspapers ago, at least.
God damn it.
Okay, okay, so the Bank of England, that's our next stop after that little visit.
What do we want from the Daily Grill?
I don't know. You pick your stuff while I look up the Bank of England. Oh, it's not in there alphabetic. I have to go back. 23 East Center. Where are you, East Center? I thought East Center was in the front. Okay. Mr. Ned Kimball, the chief cashier of the bank, receives us in his office. We find him behind a massive desk, which does his large frame justice, as we reckon his bulk to be well over 15 stones in weight. The silver-haired Kimball greets us affably, although he speaks with gravity and a shake of his head at the tragedy of Mason's murder.
I just can't imagine why anyone would want to do such a thing. He was certainly well liked by all of his fellow workers here at the bank.
How long has he been with the Bank of England?
He started with us more than 15 years ago. He has always been one of our most trusted and valued employees. And 5 years ago, he was enthusiastically approved as a choice for chief accountant despite his relative youth. As you may know, the bank is controlled by its directors, but they have little to do with the day-to-day operation of business. That is my responsibility. Mason was my second in command.
Was he ever involved in any controversy or quarrel over bank business of which you are aware?
Most certainly not. As I said, he was well liked and did his job superbly.
What do you know about his work with the Treasury?
Very little. One of our responsibilities is to oversee government audits. This was Oswald's area of responsibility. This work is highly confidential. You will have to talk to the governor, Lionel Foxcroft, if you have questions about this. I'm sorry, that's all I know.
Would you object to our checking out his office?
No, I suppose that would be acceptable. I thought that Mason's secretary, Mrs. Mabel Brown, would be the best person to sort through his papers, but as she reported in ill today, nothing has been done in that regard.
Could you give us a list of the other members of Mason's staff?
Yes, I would be glad to. None of them are here right now, as I gave them the day off.
He takes the pen out of his inkwell and begins to write.
If I can give you any further assistance, please let me know.
With these words, he hands us the following list and shows us to the door. Richard Cates, Mason's assistant. Ms. Joanna Bailey, head clerk. Mrs. Mabel Brown, Mason's secretary. A check of Mason's desk reveals the following items. Hold that up to the camera, maybe, kind of, sort of. It's very shadowy. You guys can't really see that, can you? Maybe you can. I can't. So I need to look at it. Okay. Evenson and Company gifts 2 statues. £2, 5 shillings, paid today, March 31st, 1890.
I'm telling Chase not to worry about us because Daily Girl's not serving breakfast anymore, and I don't want to figure it out right now, and I didn't listen to anything you just did, so... Okay, so that was the bank?
Yeah.
Bank of England?
Bank of England. And we didn't learn much of anything other than we've got some new people to talk to, his employees. He was not involved in any controversy surrounding bank business. This guy doesn't know anything about stuff with the Treasury, but we already learned all of that.
Why did he buy 2 statues?
That is a very good question, Caitlin. A very good question. Why did he buy 2 statues? I'm back to the theory of a lover.
Aberdeen.
Tickets to Aberdeen.
Greece tickets. The hotel.
Langham Hotel, March 26th. Oh, yeah, there's totally an affair. Totally an affair going on.
What is this?
M. Kempfield, Romana, 8 p.m. Romana? What's Romana? Isn't that what that says? That's an appointment at 8 o'clock. Wife thought he didn't have any plans to meet anybody.
Yeah.
Looks like he did. Oh, man, this is where we should have started. Oh, things are starting to come together now. Romana.
But Holmes said it had something to do with his work.
I bet it's an affair with the secretary or something. I bet it's something that mundane.
Maybe.
Romana. M. Kempfield. I suppose we could look up that name and go talk to him.
Yeah.
That probably makes more sense than whatever Romana is. Him or her. M. Kempfield. Langham Hotel, March 26th. So that was just a couple of weeks ago, I think. March 31st, he bought 2 statues. That wasn't that long ago either. And then there's something about Bacon and Company on April 4th.
Withdrawal.
Oh, but it was his account from Bacon and Company. For a withdrawal of
240
£240, which could have something to do with those Greece tickets.
Yeah.
Is that Aberdeen as well? That's Scotland, isn't it? Aberdeen?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking an affair now. Okay.
Yeah, Aberdeen is Scotland.
That's what I thought. We could go to Evanson and Company Gifts to look at the statues. Wait a second. Wasn't there an ad about Evanson and Company
Yeah.
in the paper? Looking through the newspaper. Well, I thought there was. But I don't know where. I know I saw that somewhere. Oh, there it is. Evanson and Company gift shop reported a break-in Wednesday night. The lock on the back door had been forced open. Nothing appears to have been stolen. The safe in the office had not been tampered with. Why is somebody breaking into the gift shop where he bought the statues? Maybe the statue had something of value in it and they needed to break it open to get something that was inside of it. Maybe that's why they came to his house. To find the statue. He bought 2 of them, though. Which makes me wonder if they didn't find anything in the first one at his house.
Yeah.
So they're still looking for it.
No, it wasn't described as being hollow.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it was a plaster I don't think it would be
so-
unusual for it to have some crevices or something, you know?
So, okay, what are our possible things? We could go to Evanson.
We could go to Evanson and Company. I don't think we're going to learn much there. We know he went and bought something. We know there was a break-in, nothing was missing. He bought something on the 31st. That break-in happened Wednesday night. So quite a while after this.
Yeah.
Because it was the 9th of April. But that doesn't mean that whoever broke into Evanson and Company wasn't looking for those statues. Sure sounds like they were. They break in there on Wednesday night, and then he ends up dead the next day.
Yeah.
Sure sounds like they were looking for those statues for some reason. They break one over his head, which tells me they're not looking for the statue itself. They're looking for something inside of it, I think. Either they found what they were looking for inside of that statue, or there's another one out there somewhere that they're still looking for.
Yeah.
That's why I think he died. I also think there was an affair going on because his wife didn't know about this meeting at 8 o'clock. There's something about a hotel on the 26th that was paid for.
Yeah.
He bought a second statue, and he mentions tickets to Greece and Aberdeen that the wife didn't say anything to us about. Possible that this was plans for an anniversary trip. I don't know. Maybe she did mention something about plans for the anniversary trip. I don't know. But I'm still thinking that this is pointing to an affair, but I don't think the affair has anything to do with his death now. I think his death has to do with the statues. That's what I think.
No, Emil, the statue is not the same thing as the marble replica. That's
No,
of
that
Queen
was
Anne.
that was of Queen Anne.
This
and
is the Venus de Milo.
Yeah.
I actually have one of those.
You do?
I have a Venus de Milo statue. I have to use the restroom really quick, so I'm
Go
gonna
for
do
it. But, Emil, that Queen Anne statue could still have some significance. It was just unveiled yesterday afternoon, made of Sicilian marble, and a replica. Hi, Crowley. Look at this pup. A replica of one erected in 1712 by Francis Bird, who's an eminent sculptor, to commemorate the completion of a cathedral. So that's possibly related. I don't think we know that this statue was not made of Sicilian marble, though. The little one. It was made of plaster. So weird how Queen Anne also lacked arms. Yeah. So, I'm thinking for stuff that pertains to his murder, which is what we're trying to solve. We need to find out what the deal is with those statues. How we do that, I don't know. But we could find out stuff with... We could go to this hotel and talk about why he was there. We could go talk to this M. Kempfield person. M. Kempfield Romana. Oh, maybe that's a full name. Kempfield Romana. Romano Restaurant. Okay. It's a dinner. Kempfield. And Kempfield is Michael Kempfield. Michael Kempfield. So he met Michael Kempfield at Romano Restaurant at 8 o'clock, or he was supposed to meet him, and ended up dead instead. He said that he was going to publish his report, or he was going to be able to file his report with the Treasury the next morning. So that dinner could have something to do with that. Maybe. I don't know. And then we've got this Langham Hotel thing that we could follow up on. My wheels are turning in a lot of different directions. I don't know how we find anything about these statues beyond what we already know, unless there's something in the newspaper. But I don't think there is. So I don't know how we follow my theory of what happened.
You want to come in? You want to come say hi?
Unless it does have something to do with the seedy underbelly.
Hi.
Or Moriarty.
This is a puppy.
Yeah, he came up and jumped on the couch right after you walked out.
Oh, are you being sweet? This is a pup. This is our boy.
Now,
Hi, boy.
we went from having no leads to having an embarrassment of them.
Yeah.
We have way too many things to follow up on now.
Yeah, we do.
So Caitlin, you were not in here when I discovered.
So many leads. Yeah.
I looked up alphabetically. Romano, not Romana. Romano is a restaurant.
Okay.
M. Kempfield, his first name is Michael.
Oh, yeah.
So he either met Michael Kempfield or was supposed to meet Michael Kempfield at 8 o'clock at Romano Restaurant, and his wife didn't know about this.
Okay.
It's possible that this has to do with the fact that he was ready to submit his report the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible that has something to do with that. Maybe.
Okay.
Or it could have something to do with these statues. Or it could have something to do with this stuff, which I think is an affair with a secretary or something.
Okay.
But I don't know. We don't know what time he died. So we don't know if he made this meeting or not. But I say talking to Kempfield is probably a good plan right about now.
Yeah, probably. I mean, again, we're probably going to fuck all of this up.
Probably. Okay, Kempfield. Hey!
Hey!
Don't
you
do
get
that.
off of that, puppy.
He loves to mess with my foam.
He loves to eat everything. He sucks. Just so you know.
Michael Kempfield, 48 East Center.
What do you want? What do you want? He's just sitting there staring at me.
What, pup? Do you see something up there? Do you see the screen?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I am Michael Kempfield.
Oh, boy.
What can I do for you?
Oh, no. I'm going to make him like Rico Suave, but English. Hi, I'm Michael Kempfield. What can I do for you? Yes.
We are investigating the murder of Oswald Mason. Did you see him recently?
Isn't that terrible? I was so shocked by the news.
Oh,
Yes, I saw Ozzy just yesterday. We had a late lunch together. Why?
Did he say anything which might have indicated that he was worried or that he feared for his life?
No, nothing at all. I thought the police suspected a burglar. Why would anyone want to murder Oswald?
The police do suspect a burglar, but we have to check out every angle. Did you see each other often? Is there anything at all that you can tell us?
We got together much less often than either of us wished. We were friends at school and have maintained that friendship for over 20 years. Ozzy didn't seem worried at all yesterday. He was looking forward to finishing a project at work and taking Rose to Greece. It's always so hard to see someone one day, a vital, alive person, and to realize the next that they're gone. How is Rose taking all this? I really must call on her.
She is currently resting at her sister and in-law, Edward Farmer. Thank you for your help, Mr. Kempfield.
Nope.
If you think of anything which might help, anything at all, please let us know.
Well, that was shitty.
Late lunch at 8 o'clock at night? Nah. I don't buy that. Not for a second. You know what I mean? There's something else going on here.
Okay.
I'm not saying he killed him. Unless, for some reason, this dude knows something about the statues, and I'm right on that wild hair tangent. I don't know. The tickets to Greece were a surprise for the wife. So that's no
wait a
longer
minute.
suspect.
Baby, he was with the wife.
You think he was having an affair with the wife?
Maybe. Because he knows about the tickets to Greece.
Because he talked to Oswald about it. At his late lunch at 8 o'clock at night.
Crowley,
What are you doing?
come here.
What are you doing, dog?
Getting into things I'm not supposed to be.
Getting into things.
What are you guys thinking? Anybody out there in the chat got any hot takes on all this?
Crowley.
We could go back and talk to the people that he's worked with. God, I am really... Those statues, the fact that there were two of them is really bothering me.
Yeah, I know.
The
I get
fact
that.
the fact that he's calling this a late lunch at 8 o'clock at night, that bothers me too. But I don't know where we go from here, really. We can talk
I
to
hate this game.
I know.
hate it.
I know. We had 3 names of employees that we could talk to: the secretary, the assistant,
Yeah.
those
Crowley,
guys.
no bite.
And you can just leave that door open.
Crowley, out. Leave, child.
Exactly, Emil. You would call 8 o'clock. That's dinner. That is not a late lunch. But I'm sure he said late lunch because he didn't want to let us know that he was with the guy that was found murdered at 10 o'clock at night. He was with him at 8, 2 hours before that.
Yeah.
In that window of time that we know he was murdered, this guy was with him.
Mm-hmm. And he doesn't want us.
And he doesn't want us to know that. But he was murdered at the unless the whole thing about the break-in through the window and the struggle and all of that is a setup. You know?
Yeah.
Unless this Kempfield dude killed him and staged all of it to look like that, but I don't know why, unless it has something to do with that statue.
Yeah.
But there's definitely something up with
Yeah,
Kempfield.
I know.
Definitely something up there. The police have they have said, Emil, that the statue is what killed him. The statuette was the blunt object that bashed in his head.
Yeah.
And there was plaster dust on the windowsill in the study where there was a small handprint. They said small, right?
Just a handprint, I think.
I thought they said small. Where was that? That was at the
Crime scene.
crime scene. Which did you write down the
Yeah.
address?
42 Tottenham.
42 West Center?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. There's just a palm print. Okay. What was I going back to look at? I was going back to look at work, which is the Bank of England. We don't have that address written down. "23 East Center." Where are you? The back? Yeah. Okay, so still not sure what we know what this means now.
Yeah.
These were the tickets to surprise the wife with the honeymoon trip.
Yeah.
We still don't know what this hotel visit's about.
No. We could go to the Langham Hotel.
We could. We don't know why there was a second statue, and it came from the gift shop that had a break-in the night before he was killed.
Yeah.
We also got a list of names of people to go talk to.
Yeah.
Which are people that he works with. They all have the day off, so we will find them at their homes. We've got Richard Cates, Mason's assistant. Did you write these names down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Joanna Bailey and Mabel Brown.
Right. Joanna Bailey's the head clerk. Mabel Brown is his secretary. So we could talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
We could check out the Langham Hotel. He didn't have the statues yet there, though. The statues, I think, are significant. Did you ever watch Lost? One of the characters pretended to be a priest to smuggle hollow Virgin Mary statues full of drugs. Yeah. This could have something to do with the organized crime stuff with the statue. Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't either. Before we investigate another lead, Sherlock was muttering to himself, looking through old newspapers about March and how this case goes back so far. At the time, we thought he was talking about something else, which does make sense based on the cavalier way that he was like, oh, you haven't figured it out yet? Talking to us about the case we're working on. But we've now discovered something regarding statues that has me curious to go perusing. I think it's going to be in a March newspaper. I want to look at this one. That one's in 88 though.
Oh.
This one's 89. This is last year, March.
All right.
Let's see. What are you doing, Crowley?
Curling, no. Those are Mama's slippers. No.
Archaeologist dead in mummy's tomb. Okay, that was that case.
What are you doing?
What are you doing, dog?
Down here.
What's the matter? You just starved for attention?
Not happy. Not happy, Dad. I'm just not happy.
All right.
So I'm just looking for something pertaining to Evanson and Company or a shipment of statues or whatever. And I'm not seeing nothing. Not a thing. Hey. Stop it.
He's angry. He wants to go somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know why he's so entitled about that right now.
He gets very entitled.
He does.
Crowley starts whining and pawing
Come
at the
here.
front door to go for a walk.
Come
He's
here.
very insistent about
Oh.
it.
You can sit right on my lap.
No, Dada,
and
no.
Kiss my mustache.
No,
yes.
Dada, no. No, Dada, no. Mom.
Okay.
Yes, he knows what he wants and he wants it now. He absolutely does. He's such an asshole.
Are you an asshole? Are you the worst? Yeah? Are you Mama's worst decision? Yeah. You are. Yeah.
Okay. So. Oh, hey, I just noticed a. What are you doing? What are you doing? No, I don't think his wife didn't have anything to do with it. So
My brain doesn't work
ceramics.
anymore.
I see it. What's that? No, that's from this. Damn it. That's from this case's newspaper. I thought it was the old one. Hey!
No.
Small and Company
No.
ceramics and miniature replicas of the world's great statuary, finest quality, 32
No.
Oakley Street,
No.
Southeast.
No. You're no bad boy. Out.
Hey. Call me crazy. Small and Company ceramics and miniature replicas of the world's great statuary. Is that worth visiting?
At this point,
Might as well
Yeah.
just go anywhere
Fuck it.
that our wild hair takes us.
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah, that's today's case. Okay. And that was 32 southeast.
We're going to a random ceramics place.
I'm just saying, these statues are really...
Kyle's on it with the statues.
There's a big thing. No, it's not that big. I didn't see that number. But it's a nice chunk. On arriving at J. Small and Company Ceramics Factory, one of the workers directs us to Aggie Small, who, he informs us, runs the company. She is small and wiry and moves and speaks with authority. After we introduce ourselves, she invites us into a small office cluttered with statuary, miniature reproductions of the world's great art. We are interested in obtaining some information on statues that your company manufactures. I must say, there certainly has been a lot of interest in our statues recently, specifically the Venus de Milo ones.
Mm-hmm.
Could you fill us in? Wednesday, a nice gentleman, he said his name was Mr. Hawkins and that he had a shop in Southampton, came to the shop and was so taken by them that he wanted to buy all that I had. Unfortunately, I only had 5 left in stock, all of which he purchased. He was so impressed by them that he wanted to know where he could find the rest and see if he could buy them back. I told him I was planning to make more, and if he could wait a week or so, he could have all he wanted. He insisted he could not wait, and I gave him the names of the other buyers. Could you give us that information? Yes, there were only 2. 5 went to Evanson and Company, and 5 more to the gift shop of the British Museum. Have these statues always been so popular? No, my husband made up 15 of them 3 years ago, but refused to sell them. Could we speak to your husband? No, he died a fortnight ago. We're sorry to hear that. Well, I must say you are probably the only ones. You and the barman at the Red Boar Inn.
Wow.
Okay. I'm not saying I'm a genius or anything, but clearly, it's the statues. That's what got him killed.
Okay.
Without question. There's totes something illegal in these statues. Yup. Oh, mama! Mr. Hawkins?
Yeah.
Hawkins. Let's see if that's a real name. Hawkins. Hawkins L. Just a first initial. Curious. 11 Southeast. Shall we?
Sure.
Fuck. Our knock is answered by a young man with pleasant, albeit unremarkable features. Mr. Hawkins? Yes, can I help you? Mr. Hawkins asks with a puzzled look on his face. Did you by any chance buy some statues the day before yesterday? No, I certainly did not. You must have the wrong person. Sorry to bother you.
So it's not that Hawkins.
That's probably a fake name.
Yeah.
I thought it was worth a shot, though.
Okay.
But I think we have found our suspect. We just don't know who he is. I'm still not sure. There's a whole lot of other stuff going on in this case, though, besides just who killed him and why. We don't know the who, we know the why. I mean, we know who, but we don't know who that guy is. Could you check the other shop with statues? Yes, we could. That might give us more on who this guy is.
Stevenson.
Yes. Evenson and Company. No, not Evenson. The other shop. The museum. The British Museum gift shop.
Did we already go to Evenson?
38 West Center. We did not go to Evenson, but Evenson, it was a break-in. They're not going to know anything about this guy.
All right.
"38 West Center, I can tell from the map. Oh, I'm going down a rabbit hole. Yes, we received a shipment of statues from J. Small and Company. I remember it well. 5 reproductions of the Venus de Milo. As a matter of fact, we sold the last 4 today, all to the same person. A beautiful young lady with long red hair and fair skin, who gave her name as Mrs. Smith. I am sure I've seen her on the stage, though not under that name, but for the life of me, I can't remember what her name is." "Do you know who purchased the other statue?" "Yes, I do. Mrs. Smith asked the same question. It was purchased by Dame Smedley on April 3rd.
Violet. The singer.
Yup. And Errol. Welcome home, Violet. Those are the people who killed our guy. So should we go to the Oxford Music Hall? Or should we go to Dame Smedley and try and save her life? Because she's probably going to die. Actually, no, she's probably fine because they're just going to get the statue. That's all they're after.
I don't care.
All right. Oxford Music Hall. Let's go after our suspect.
We have so completely ruined this, right?
Don't worry about that. We're going to solve the case. That's what matters.
Okay.
We said that at the very beginning, that we'll be happy if we can solve the case. 13 Northwest. "It sounds like you're looking for Violet Blue," responds the doorman. "That's her on the poster. Beautiful woman, isn't she? She's not on the stage tonight. Wasn't yesterday either. Do you know why? The manager said she's ill. Sandra Gamble is her stand-in. She's a real beauty herself. You should catch the act. You won't be disappointed." Curiouser and curiouser. Wasn't on stage last night because she wasn't feeling well, eh? Where do we catch her? Dame Smedley?
Maybe.
That's where she's headed. No, come back. Smedley. Dame Agnes, 47 Northwest. The butler shows us into the library of the Smedley mansion. Dame Agnes Smedley proudly displays her unblemished Venus safely resting under a glass-domed case in the center of a large table covered by miniature reproductions of the world's great artworks.
Why not find Violet Blue?
She doesn't live here.
Errol?
We only have a first name. But I guarantee it's a joint operation between these two. This is Mr. Hawkins. This is Mrs. Smith. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Rabbit hole. But the lady that makes the statues, she said the only person that would miss her husband was the guy at the Red Boar Inn or whatever. And she said it like it was like, oh, he's a drunk. But clearly he hid something in these statues. Maybe the guy at the Red Boar Inn knows what's in the statues.
Possible.
Was it the Red Boar Inn? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, 34 Southeast. The barman greets us amiably and becomes appreciatively talkative after we buy him a pint of bitters.
Ah, old Johnny. He was a wild one, he was. Always expected him to come to a violent end. What a bloke he was.
What could you tell us about him?
I could tell you a lot of stories, mates. The time he got 2 women from the circus and...
Those are not the stories we're interested in. What can you tell us about his business?
His business? Oh, you mean that ceramics or whatever you call it shop? I don't know much about that. He didn't seem to spend much time at it. I think he bought it to satisfy his old lady. Seems like she wanted something respectable. As if anything could have made Johnny respectable.
What did he do before he acquired his ceramic shop?
Jeez, mates, I don't know. I only met Johnny 3 years ago when he bought his shop. Now, Ned, down at the end of the bar, he knew Johnny a long time. Used to work for him until the old lady fired him a few days ago. Want me to have him come down and join us?
Sure.
Hey, Ned, come on down here. These blokes want to buy you a pint.
Ned drains what is left of the drink in front of him and starts down to our end of the bar. He is a small man dressed in well-worn work clothes which are dirty and patched. By the time he reaches us, a new pint is waiting, and the barman has taken his 4D. D. Some measure of currency. It's not pence, it's not shillings. No. Plus tip from the money we have left on the bar.
Gentlemen, this is Ned Blake. Ned, they'd like to know something about Johnny Small.
What you want to know, mate? We understand you knew Jonathan Small before he bought the ceramics works. Could you tell us anything about him?
I guess I ain't going to do Johnny no harm now.
Yeah, I known him a long time. We growed up together in the East End. He was older than me, and I guess he got used to taking care of me. I used to trail behind those 3 musketeers, as everybody used to call Johnny, Leroy Eakin, and Nat Cook. I don't know how he made the money to buy the shop. There were tales about the Drummond's bank robbery and other heists. I don't know for sure about any of this, but I know Johnny wasn't always on the right side of the law. But he was a good bloke. Always took care of his mates. Gave me a job when he got the shop, and I held that up until last week when the missus fired me. Why did she do that? She never did like me, or any of Johnny's old friends that he hired to help out. So when he kicked off, she kicked us out, me and old Leroy Eakin. He was Johnny's best friend, but she don't want no reminders of Johnny around. The shop is a front for something illicit.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, no chance of beating Sherlock because we're following way too many leads at this point, but we're getting closer. I'm feeling it. Leroy Eakin?
Sure.
Yeah. 20 Southeast. You need to take more notes before we leave?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
Who was the other friend? Nat Cook?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew John Small.
answers Leroy Eakin to our question. Leroy is a small man with the muscular build of a labourer.
I don't see how that has anything to do with you.
We would just like to ask you a few questions. We are trying to ascertain if there might be some connection between Mr. Small and a murder that took place last night.
Boy, I'll tell you. Poor Johnny, here he is dead a fortnight and being accused of a murder from the grave. When are you going to leave the poor man alone? You people hounded him all his life and now you won't let him rest in peace.
You don't understand. We're not trying to implicate Mr. Small. It's just that our investigation has led us to J. Small and Company, and we are trying to gather information to see how it fits into our investigation.
And it may be Johnny's old lady what's involved. Jeez, I'd do anything to get that bloody old bat. I still think she had something to do with Johnny's death.
We were under the impression that Small died under natural circumstances.
Yeah, well, that's what Aggie would like everyone to believe, but I don't. I went to St. Thomas Hospital and tried to talk to the doctors, but they wouldn't talk to me. Said there was no reason to suspect foul play. Well, I'll tell you what's foul. Aggie Small. That's what.
Is that why she fired you? Because you accused her of having something to do with her husband's death?
There's one reason. Her and Johnny didn't get along too well. She blamed a lot of his troubles on his friends. She felt they had led Johnny astray.
And had they?
Nobody led Johnny anywhere he didn't want to go. Sure, Johnny was wild, and I'm not saying he didn't break the law now and then, but growing up in the East End don't give you much respect for the law.
Do you know of any crimes Mr. Small might have been involved in?
Hey, look, I told you, I'm not interested in talking about the rumours in Johnny's past. I can see you're only interested in the lies about Johnny. I've said enough, now get out!
Can you tell us how to find Nat Cook?
No!
The door slams in our face. Honestly, that sounds like Johnny wasn't up to anything illegal.
Yeah, no.
And that throws me off.
Yeah.
Because if Agnes was stashing stuff in those statues, why would she be selling them all?
Why'd she only sell them after her husband's death?
Because she said because he insisted on keeping them. So up until this conversation, my head was in the space of, oh, so he was stashing stuff in those statues, and that's why he didn't want to sell them. But with him dead, now she's selling them, and whoever knew about what was in those statues is trying to get them back. But this conversation makes me think, I don't know, this throws me off. That whole line of thought.
Yeah.
Unless this guy's lying.
Right. I don't know.
Hmm. I mean, we could try to talk to Nat Cook. Have a feeling we're not going to find him. Because that question makes me think that if you go try to find Nat Cook first, he's not there or something. Because there was a question. There was a question here. Can you tell us how to find Nat Cook? Oh, well, he's not in the directory. Oh, God,
feel like we're so close. At least to answering the question of who killed him. There's a whole lot of bonus stuff going on, too. Like, what happened with the extra money, and why did he buy 2 statues, and why did he go to that hotel?
Yeah, I still think we need to look up more about Violet, too.
Yeah, I don't know how we learn more. Yeah, Violet is obviously involved.
What wasn't there a Sandra something or other?
That was the understudy that's going on in her place.
We could have talked to her.
I mean, wouldn't she be there at the Oxford Music Hall?
Maybe not.
You think she lives in town? Maybe Violet does live in town. Yeah, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, she probably does. Because this says, "Welcome home," signed Violet, addressed to Errol.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go see if we can find her at her house. And then we can try and talk to Sandra. What's her name?
Okay.
Blue. Not brown, blue. Violet. 49 East Center. Alfie Kent, the doorman, informs us that Violet Blue does have rooms there, but is not in at present. A Bob convinces Alfie to show us Violet's rooms. As we enter Violet Blue's rooms, we are immediately struck by the mayhem that surrounds us. Near the fireplace grate lie the shattered remains of at least 10 Venus de Milos. On a nearby table are 2 wrapped packages bearing the label of the British Museum, which, when opened, reveal another pair of Venus statues. A check of the bedroom shows dresser drawers open and empty. The wardrobe had been stripped of its contents. The remaining 3-odd shoes and faded housecoat are the only indicators of the departed occupant's feminine gender. "If it's Miss Violet you be wanting, I might be able to help you out, mate." Another bob to Alfie, and his tongue begins to wag. "Miss Violet left about 20 minutes ago in the company of a young gent. Quite a hurry they was in. I'd say maybe trying to catch a train. I was putting their luggage in a 4-wheeler, and I hears the young man tell the cabby to take him to Waterloo Station." Thanks, Alfie. Much obliged.
Errol.
Errol would be the young gent. Better get to Waterloo Station. Quick, before they leave. It's on the map, right?
Yeah, 37.
37 southeast?
Yeah.
Okay. Constable Parks is standing at the entrance to the station. He recognizes us as we get out of our hansom.
"You're a little late, mates. Just missed all the excitement. Mr. Holmes and Inspector Lestrade just left with 2 reluctant companions. A young man and woman they were, and what a howl that woman put up. She was sure upset, she was. The young man tried to make a run for it, but only got as far as the waiting arms of Dr. Watson."
Errol and Violet.
Yep. Well, I think we solved the main case.
Yeah, what was in the statue, though? That's what we don't know.
We don't know, but it was only in one of them. Because they stopped searching. They smashed 10 statues there, in addition to the one they smashed over.
I'm scared that this is the bonus.
You think?
I don't know.
No, because they killed him. They smashed a statue over his head.
Okay, all right.
They broke in through the open window upstairs.
Yeah, but why'd they want to kill him?
They didn't, but he was there. They wanted what was in the statue.
Right, okay.
I'm assuming it was Errol who broke in through the window.
Yeah.
Because we're not to suspect that an opera singer
Right.
broke in through the window and killed a man,
Right.
right? But what was in the statue is probably a bonus question. Probably also, there's a question somewhere about what happened to the extra money for Bacon and Company.
Yeah.
And a question about who he was having an affair with, because he bought 2 statues. And he had a reservation at a hotel room.
Yeah.
So we could probably find out about the affair talking to...
The Langdon Hotel.
I don't think we're going to find out much about... I don't think we're going to find out who the affair was with, going to the hotel. We'll just confirm that there was an affair,
Okay.
I think. But if we go talk to the secretary or the assistant or the head clerk,
Yeah.
my inclination is the secretary just because stereotypes. But but his assistant's also male. Oh, but then we've still got the friend that had the late lunch at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
I don't know.
Oh,
I know.
The rules of the game, by the way, guys, we don't get to know what the questions are until we've decided that we're ready to solve. So we're theorizing on all the questions we still have in terms of what questions they're going to ask us
Yeah.
when we get to the solution. We do believe we've solved the primary question, which is who killed him. I mean, that's we have to assume that that's the main question behind this whole case. But there are usually 4 or 5 questions pertaining to the main investigation, and then there's another 4 or 5 bonus questions. We don't know what Sherlock is looking at old newspapers for.
Mm-mm.
And oh, look at that. Jonathan Small died in a hit-and-run carriage accident on March 30th. Huh. Could have been Violet and Errol.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how do we find out what was in the statues? How do we find out... Or one of the statues, I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How do we find out...
Could go to.
Errol's full name, because we might need that?
We could still go talk to Sandra Campbell.
Yeah? Gamble?
Yeah.
Is that her last name? I mean, at this point, we might as well follow our noses anywhere. 8 Southeast. I can only spare you a few minutes, and then I have to get to rehearsal. Sandra Gamble brushes the blonde locks covering her eyes and adjusts her robe before letting us enter her room. What can I do for you? What can you tell us about Violet Blue?
Well, I've known her for about 2 years, ever since I arrived in London. We were roommates. That's how we met. She was looking for someone to spare her lodgings. It was a rough time for her. Her fiancé had just been arrested and she was taking it very hard. Then she started getting some good parts and her career took off. She's always been good to me, helping me get parts when she could. She got me the part as her understudy in this review, so this has been a big break for me. I hope Miss Blue is not too ill. Ill? Oh, no. Her fiancé got out of prison 2 days ago and she wanted to spend a few days with him. Oh, dear, I shouldn't have said that. She told the manager that she was ill. You won't repeat that, will you? No, your confidence is safe with us. So you know the name of Miss Blue's fiancé? Yes, his name is Errol. Errol Hawke. Okay, good. We've got the name of our killer.
Errol Hawke and
Now,
Violet Blue.
Errol Hawke killed the man, killed Mason, trying to steal the Venus de Milo statue because they were looking for something inside of those statues. God knows what, but it had something to do with illegal activity between Errol Hawke and, I'm guessing, Jonathan Small.
Yeah.
Why was Michael Kempfield lying about when he saw?
I don't know.
I don't either. It's getting late. This game's dragging on.
Yeah. Should we just solve?
I want to go talk to the secretary first.
Okay.
I wanna-
Mabel Brown.
Mabel Brown. I want to find some more answers to questions. And that should be an easy.
Because I'm starving.
Me too.
So we need to.
You
We're
can-
going to wrap this up pretty soon, you guys.
You can hear my stomach.
Yeah, my stomach's going to.
Brown, Mabel?
Mm-hmm.
She's not in here. There's a Sam Brown and a James Brown. James Brown.
James Brown.
And an Inspector Brown and a Dr. F.G. Brown. And a Catherine Brown and a Walter Brown with an E. But I don't think she had an E.
There's Joanna Bailey or Richard Cates.
Mabel Brown's the one I want to talk to, though. She's probably married or something, and that's why it's under her husband's name.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing Sam Brown, because James Brown is just 11 East, and that's not a thing. So Sam Brown would be 40 Northwest. Let's try it. Why not?
Alright.
We are met at the door of Mrs. Brown's lodgings by her landlady, Mrs. Quinn. After introducing ourselves, we inquire if Mrs. Brown is in. Yes, she is, poor dear. I've been so worried about her. She hasn't eaten in days, and she didn't go into work today. Has she been with you long? Close to 3 years, ever since she married Sam. It must be hard on her, Sam being gone so much. He's a merchant seaman with Jardines, you know. Is that how you say that? I don't know.
I don't know.
No, we didn't know. Have you known him long? Oh, my, yes, ever since he was a baby. His mother, Martha, God rest her soul, was my dearest friend. Sam has been like a son to me ever since Martha passed away, almost 10 years ago now. Where does the time go? Here we are. This is the door to Mabel's rooms. Mabel, dear, there are some people here to see you about poor Mr. Mason's death. I'll be right there, comes a voice from behind the door. Seconds later, the door is opened by a young woman in her early 20s. She has flowing black hair, which emphasizes the delicate beauty of her ivory complexion. Please, come in. If you need anything, dear, just ring, says Mrs. Quinn, who has already started back down the stairs. How can I help you? asks Mabel Brown as we enter the room and she closes the door behind us. We understand that you have heard of Mr. Mason's death.
Why don't I ever get to read the women?
Read it. You never wanted to read before, that's why.
Yes, this morning. Joanna, Miss Bailey from the office stopped by and told me the bad news. Ned, Mr. Kimball gave her the day off and she stopped by to tell me.
How did you know Mr. Mason?
Well, I've been his secretary for 3 years, ever since my graduation from Bedford.
Do you know of any reason why anyone would want to murder Mr. Mason?
Oh, no. He was such a nice man. He was so considerate, always remembering everyone's birthday. And last week he gave me a lovely little statue.
At this point, the tears she has been trying to hold back begin to trickle.
Little statue.
At this point, the tears she has been trying to hold back begin to trickle down her cheeks.
Joanna woke this morning and told me of Mr. Mason's death. As we were talking, I turned and saw the broken Venus on the floor, and it struck me as so sad.
With this last, she breaks into loud sobs.
I am sorry.
That's all right, we understand. We are sorry to have to intrude at this time, but we have to check with everyone who might shed some light on this tragedy.
I want to help. Please go on.
Do you know of anyone at the bank who might have wished harm on Mr. Mason, or anything involving his work that would lead to his murder?
No. As I said before, he was very considerate of everyone. He was well liked. His work was mainly routine and concerned primarily with the operation of bank audits. He has been involved of late with some work for the Treasury, but I know little of that. Mr. Cates might know more, but he often did work for government agencies. No, there is nothing I can think of that would cause such a consequence.
Well, thank you for your help. We hope you will soon be feeling better.
Thank you. I will ring for Mrs. Quinn to show you out.
We meet Mrs. Quinn outside the door, and she leads us down the stairs. You want to read her?
I hope Mabel isn't in any trouble.
No, not at all. Just routine, we assure her.
She has had so many problems of late. She and Sam always fighting when he's home and then being gone for such long periods of time. A hard life for both of them. I heard her crying last night after she came in. I should have tried to comfort her, but I was already in bed. Life is hard. Well, have a good day.
All right, so he was having an affair with Mabel. He just broke it off last night. And that's why she was in tears last night. She probably smashed the statue when she got home because she was so mad at him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are there any other questions that we feel like we can find an answer to?
At this point, no.
I mean, there's 2 more questions in my brain, which are, why did Kempfield say late lunch when the journal said, or the note thing said 8 p.m.?
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking 8 p.m. was actually to break it off with Mabel.
Right.
So maybe he fudged the numbers in the booklet. Maybe he actually did meet Kempfield for lunch,
Right.
and then he said that he met him at 8 so that he could, if his wife ever asked
Yeah.
or whatever, maybe.
Mhm.
And the other question I have is, what was in the statue?
Yeah, I don't know.
And I don't know how we find that.
Unless we go talk to like Porky Shinwell.
Yeah, maybe.
We could if you want to.
I mean, sure, why not?
52 East Center.
I doubt it, but you never know.
Wiggins, my boy, how are you? You looking mighty thirsty.
Fine, Porky, thanks. But a fellow named Oswald Mason isn't doing quite so well. He was murdered last night. Have you heard anything about it?
Mason? No. Can't say I've heard even a whisper of the affair. Watson was in earlier asking the same question. Must not have involved any of the chaps that hang about here.
Cool. That didn't help.
Let's solve.
Okay. We're
You
gonna
know?
solve.
Let's do it.
We might be totally wrong.
Oh, no. We're not totally wrong. We're just going to miss a couple questions.
Okay.
But we've got absolute concrete answers on some of this stuff.
All
I think.
right. All right.
First series. Question 1. Who killed Oswald Mason? Errol Hawke.
And Violet Blue.
Errol Hawke was the one who did it.
Why?
I think. Why? Because they were trying to get whatever was in the Venus de Milo statue. Oswald happened to be home.
Right.
3. What did the Venus de Milo's reproductions contain?
We don't
We
know.
don't know. 4. Who stole the 5 sisters?
What the fuck is the 5 sisters?
What is the 5 sisters?
I told you. We don't have this.
I don't know what that one is.
Who is the murderer's accomplice?
Violet Blue. Hey, we got 3 of those questions.
All right. Second series. Who is responsible for the shortage of funds at Bacon & Co.?
We don't know that one.
We
I forgot
don't.
about that one. Yeah. 7. What is the distinctive sign of murders ordered by Moriarty? Oh, that's that case that Sherlock's been tracking back for forever. Ugh. What was found in the body of Jonathan Small?
Please read chapter 37 Southeast Waterloo Station before proceeding to the solution. We've read Waterloo Station.
We
so
have.
We know. Yeah, we
didn't
not.
get any of the bonus questions.
No.
The affair wasn't important.
No.
Um,
The fuck are these questions? I know. The fuck is the 5 sisters?
I don't know. All right, well,
Let's see.
what is this? Oh, that's got the actual answers, but
Yeah.
first we read
Oh,
Holmes's
God.
solution. Well, here are our friends now, Lestrade, says Holmes, as he and Inspector Lestrade of Scotland Yard stand flanking Errol Hawke and Violet Blue just in front of the barrier at Waterloo Station. It was a pretty problem, as my instincts told me this morning. Hawke here, for all his personal fastidiousness, was a most untidy thief and a brutal murderer. Errol Hawke succumbed to the lure of the De Vries diamonds from the first moment that his cellmate at the Millbank prison, Nat Cook, told him of their whereabouts. I had an inkling that Nat Cook... Anyway. Desperate that the death of Jonathan Small, his partner in the 1887 diamond theft, would lead to the dispersal or destruction of the Venus statues, Cook found himself forced to take on a new partner. Just 2 days after Small's death, Hawke was released from prison, where he had been serving 2 years for the burglary of a lady's jewelry box. He made straight for the home of Miss Violet Blue. Having reassured himself of her devotion, he set about laying his plans. The next day he went to J. Small and Company to claim the prize, only to find that but 5 of the original 15 statues remained. He purchased them, and, posing as a Southampton dealer in objets d'art, he learned from Mrs. Small where the other statues had been sold as a precaution, lest the bundles he now carried did not contain the treasure. He took them to Violet's rooms, where together they broke them to pieces in vain. Errol then plunged into devising a scheme to track down the others. The next morning, continues Holmes, drawing on his disreputable black briar, Hawke went to Evenson and Company, gift shop, where he purchased the 3 Venuses still in stock, and learned that the other 2 had been sold. Unable to convince the manager of the shop to reveal the names of the purchasers, he resolved to get his information by reverting to his old trade of burglary. He entered the shop that night and took down the names and addresses of Mrs. Oswald Mason and Mrs. Mabel Brown from the shop shipping register. Having spent the entire day plotting his actions, Hawke arrived at the Mason home in a state of considerable agitation. He entered through the upstairs bedroom window into a house he thought deserted.
until he saw the light in the study. He approached the door in much the way Mrs. Mason did upon her return. He saw Oswald Mason with his back to the door and the counterfeit Venus on the table in the far corner, only a few steps away. At this point, Mr. Mason became aware of Hawk's presence, and a fight ensued that ended in Mason's death. After Hawk made sure that Mason was not going to give him any more trouble, he went to the corner table, grabbed the Venus, and smashed it upon the floor. As he was sifting through the rubble of the broken statue, he heard the sound of the front door latch opening. Seeing that the diamonds were not in Mason's Venus, he saw no reason to prolong his stay. He opened the window, threw open the shutters, and slipped out, making his escape somewhat more noisily than was comfortable. Inspector Lestrade beams when Holmes adds, "It thus would appear that Scotland Yard was correct in its conclusion that the killer had been surprised by Mrs. Mason's return." Lestrade mumbles something to himself, however, as Holmes continues. Unfortunately, they missed the obvious fact that it was only the Venus for which the burglar had come. With one murder done that evening, Hawk was not ready to let anything stand in his way of success, and had made for Mrs. Mabel Brown's house. He climbed to the roof, and in the pattern of entry which had made him such a spectacular menace to the fortunes of wealthy matrons before his arrest, he gained access through a second-story window. Mercifully, he found no one at home, and descending the stairs, he located Mabel Brown's facsimile of the Venus de Milo. Not wanting to be seen on the street at night carrying the thing, he smashed it there. Again, he had been foiled. One can only imagine the fury, lacking in remorse, which filled his heart at that moment. Holmes interrupts his narrative and casts a contemptuous glance at the now downcast Hawk, slumped against Lestrade beside the sobbing Miss Blue. As soon as the museum shop opened, Hawk was there and purchased the 4 pieces on the shelves, and also learned the ominous fact that a 5th Venus de Milo had been sold only the day before. Hardly had he arrived back at Violet Blue's flat, but they were both tearing away at the wrapping and adding the statues one by one to the pile of plaster rubble by the grate. The diamonds, as you no doubt surmised, were in the second of the 4 museum copies. Once in possession of the stones, the two hurriedly completed the packing of their bags, and then sped for Waterloo and the hope of a boat train and freedom on the continent.
There wasn't a whole lot in there that we didn't know.
No.
So all those other questions are stuff about the Moriarty stuff.
Right.
That we completely forgot to go look at. Holmes solved this case by following 7 leads. That's a lot for Sherlock.
Yeah.
Mason home, which is the crime scene. The Bank of England. Mabel Brown. Evenson and Company gift shop, which we never went to. J. Small and Company. Millbank Prison. Should have thought of that. And Violet Blue. He also used the following article from the newspaper. Deaths, personal, Errol, and miscellaneous Oxford Music Hall. We keyed in on all those. J. Small and Company Ceramics, yes. Evenson and Company Gift Shop, yeah. DeVries Diamond never found from all the way back in March 1988. 1888, sorry.
Which you told me not to look at.
I did, didn't I? Ah!
But I probably wouldn't have keyed in on it.
No, because we weren't looking for anything like that yet.
Oh my god.
All right, so, I mean, we kind of already know what we're going to see in here. We're going to see some answers to the questions that we didn't know anything about.
Right.
But, first series, answer to question 1 was Errol Hawk. We were right. That's 20 points. Second question, why? He surprised Mason while attempting to steal the Venus statue. 20 points. We were right. What did the Venus de Milo's reproductions contain? Precious jewels stolen from the jeweler DeVries.
We did not
Which
get.
we did not get. Question 4, who stole the 5 sisters? Nat Cook and Jonathan Small.
Are the 5 sisters
That
the
must
jewels?
be the jewels.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And question 5, who was the murder's accomplice? Violet Blue. 20. Man, if I'd have known what the 5 sisters were, I probably could have guessed Nat Cook and Jonathan Small.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got 60 points. Second series. Who was responsible for the shortage of funds at Bacon & Co.? Michael Essex and Mitchell York, directors of Bacon & Co. That seems like a rather mundane answer to that question. What is the distinctive sign of murders ordered by Moriarty? A Roman coin is found on the victims. Okay. And what was found in the body of Jonathan Small? Traces of arsenic, probably administered by his wife. Whoa.
Okay.
So his wife killed him?
Yeah.
Huh. To tally your score, add the points obtained by answering the questions, then count the number of leads you followed, then compare the number of leads you followed to that of Holmes. 7 leads in this case.
No.
If you've followed more leads than Holmes, subtract 5 points from your score for each extra lead. If you've followed fewer leads than Holmes, add 5 to your score for each lead fewer. You'll thus get your final score.
Minus something.
How many leads did we follow? Just out of curiosity.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12?
Yeah.
So that's 5 more than him.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
It's not good.
That's
25
points docked. So we still had a score.
Yeah, that's incredible, actually.
That might be our best game.
Oh, wait. No.
Oh,
we
wait,
followed
wait.
way more.
13.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, we have no score.
19 times 5. That's more than I can mental math.
Yeah, no.
Hold on. 19 times 5.
We have no score.
Wait. 19 minus 7 that's 12. 12 more. Times 5 is
60. We have no score.
We got a score of 0.
We got a score of 0.
But it wasn't negative. Looking on the bright side.
I need to eat something now.
We solved some of it, Razzie. We didn't solve everything, but we solved some of it. And I am proud of us for that.
Oh my god. This was horrible.
And I know what we missed in the main case. I don't know how we were supposed to find who was responsible for the shortage of funds. I guess because we tried to talk to Bacon & Co. and they wouldn't let us.
Yeah.
How we were supposed to find what was in the body of Jonathan Small. I guess going to talk to the coroner or something.
Yeah.
But the distinctive sign of murders ordered by Moriarty? What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Maybe that had to do with that one case that you were looking at or that one headline you were looking at, the anarchist?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Anyway, that is Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. Where's Streamlabs so I can remote control things? I guess I do have a mouse right here, but... Hey, we're back to here. Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us for that. This game is hard.
Yes.
Really, really not easy.
Nope.
Thank you guys so much for being here.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we gotta... I feel like there was something in the mini feed that never showed up. And I don't know how to make it do that. Maybe if I do that, it'll fix it. It did. It was JLG Addicts resubscription for 5 months. Oh, and I answered that. Okay. We finished Astral Chain. Yeah. So, that's it for the Board and Barrel this week. Our very weird, our very different episode of the Board and Barrel.
Yes.
We will not be playing this game on this show ever again. And might not be playing it ever again anyway. I don't know. I kind of had fun today.
Yeah, no, this was fine.
This was a lot better than the
I'd
last
play
time
it
I remember
again.
playing.
I would play it again. I can't
starving,
think anymore
yeah.
because I'm starving.
The last,
so
I remember the last game we played. I felt so dumb.
Yeah.
At the end of it, because I was like, I don't know anything. We've read the whole book, and we figured out nothing.
Yep.
That was really frustrating. But that was case 7, so we've only got 3 more to go before this game's dead to us anyway.
Cool.
I'm throwing everything back in the box. So, if you are curious, pick up a copy of the game yourself. And next time on Board and Barrel, we'll probably be doing something on Tabletop Simulator next week, because Eric's still going to be out of town, but Dustin will be back. So we might... I have a feeling we'll try and figure something out to do next week. I just don't know what yet. I'll keep you posted in the Discord. Make sure you join down below. And in terms of the next thing that's going to be on this channel, tentatively scheduled for Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, I'll be hopping on to return us to Original Nier. Long-awaited return to the Original Nier.
I probably won't be
That's fine.
there.
That's fine.
Maybe.
But that's it. And if that falls through, then the next stream won't be till after Christmas. So Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate it. Happy holidays, or happy Saturday for the rest of you. And we'll see you next time.
Yay!
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Where's the there?